Welcome, everybody, to the Shut Your Mouth Lounge. I kept making pauses there, expecting Addy to interrupt me, but he never did.
Hey.
There he is. There's one Addy, doing his usual thing. There's also Pink.
Hey.
And Soon.
Hey.
I'm
Oh.
disappointed that you didn't go for 3. You really should have.
Alright then. So, Pink, you got anything coming out on your individual channel, man?
No, at least I don't think so.
Addy, you got anything coming out on your channel?
No, I have 2 reviews scripted and all that. I have the footage for it. I just need to actually read the script and then edit the thing together. So
Alright.
it all just depends on how lazy I will be in the next week.
Hell, it's progress anyways.
Yeah.
And I need to find what is coming up this next week, but because we've been recording a shit ton these past 2 months. Oh boy, okay, I've gotten to this coming week. Alright then. So, on Monday, we have Sengoku Basara 4 Part 3 with me and Addy. On Tuesday, we've got Episode 9 of Fighting Games R. On Friday, we've got Star Wars Battlefront 2 Part 4. That's a pretty solid setup of recordings. I definitely remember that Star Wars Battlefront recording. That one was a bit of a fun one.
Yeah.
Alright then. So, Soon, what you been up to this week, man?
Well, I'm gonna actually do for the past couple weeks since my last irregular appearance on the podcast.
Alright.
Alright, I watched the Unsolved Mysteries reboot that came out on Netflix a couple weeks
There's
ago.
a reboot?
Yeah, there's a reboot.
How many more mysteries do you have now that remain unsolved?
Like 6. There's only 6 in the first season of the reboot.
That's not a lot.
And one of them is a really stupid UFO one. It's yeah. But
the
other
truth
side
is out
pretty
there.
interesting. But yeah, I feel like I need to mention this one episode where, like, okay, so in this episode, there's this woman, she has a kid, she suddenly goes missing one day, right? She also has a husband that she was attempting to divorce at the time. This husband that she divorces is the most creepy, horrible guy I've ever seen on TV. He is horrible. He, like, despises her son. Her son isn't from this husband, but from a husband. Yeah. But when she went missing, the day she went missing, he changed all the locks on their house before the son came home. The son was 15 at the time. And so, like, his mom has just gone missing. He's been told by the police. He goes home. All the doors are locked. He starts pounding on the doors, and he can't get in. The husband won't let him in, right?
Yeah?
So he's already looking a little suspicious because, like, he changed all of the locks, like, hours after his wife went missing. But then it gets even worse. Like, at one point in the interview, he's talking about how he still has his wife's ashes, right? Actually, let me go back a bit.
Yeah, I was about to say, when did it skip to her being cremated?
Yeah, after they found her remains, by the way, after, like, over a year, they found her remains. He went to go see her remains, right? He had the mortuary person, like, put her skeleton in, like, skeleton form, put all the bones so that it looks like a skeleton.
Yeah.
And then he picks up her skull and starts dancing around with it. This is all the stuff that he, like, casually admitted on the show. He picked up her skull and started dancing around with it, and then he kissed it.
Well, this sounds like a perfectly reasonable person.
And then he had her bones cremated.
You're describing a Tim Burton villain here, you realize.
I know, but this is a real guy.
No, I know. That's the funny. Life is stranger than fiction, as they say.
Yeah. But it gets even worse. He has her cremated. He takes her ashes. He says he won't ever let her son have her ashes. And like he'll do everything he possibly can to keep her son from having her ashes. And then
Okay.
he talks about how he like slept with her ashes in bed. And he called her his teddy bear. He would
That
like cuddle with her ashes.
okay.
That is deeply disturbing.
And so like the entire internet blew up at this. It was
The
like a
entire
Carol Baskin-
internet.
Well, not the entire internet, but like a lot of the internet. You know what I mean?
Like
And,
65% of the internet power went to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it was like Carol Baskins all over again, you know?
Yeah.
And because it was so obvious that this guy was the one who killed her, you know?
Yeah.
And like I'm not even like my description can't even do the guy justice in terms of just how creepy he was. Because like you can't hear him talking and stuff. But it was really disturbing.
Yeah, behind him were pictures of him was he stabbing his wife. They just hung up.
Yeah.
He's just like, this was my favorite, and it's his wife crying.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Like I didn't even hit all of like the creep stuff. Like how he like talked about his wife's murder and he was like, I don't want to say it, but like some guy probably like wheeled her out in a wheelbarrow out there and like used her as a toy. And it's just like
Okay,
he
I
was,
gotta,
like,
I gotta step
smiling.
out right now. Though it does seem like I'm stepping out a bit of an awkward moment. I gotta step out. I'll be
Yeah,
back
but,
in
like-
just a second.
But yeah, like he was smiling while he said it. It was disturbing.
Yeah, I didn't do it, but to me, to my untrained eye, it looks like she was strangled with the force of a man roughly my size and build, and then dragged out, stabbed a couple of times. Maybe the guy fell on the couple of the leaves. You know, no, that bruise is not from that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like it was like you know how OJ Simpson wrote that one book? Like
Yeah.
if I had killed her, this is how I would have done it. Yeah, it was kind of like that. Yeah, no, this dude is very, very creepy. And I hope he gets arrested. The weirdest thing is that he has like a new wife now. But anyway,
New sacrifice, rather.
New
Okay.
sacrifice.
yeah.
Is she content with the fact that he snuggles with a urn?
Oh, he actually doesn't have her ashes in an urn. He has it in a cardboard box.
What?
A,
Yes. Yeah.
a
yeah,
casual cardboard box?
Yes, he just has it in a cardboard box at the bottom of his closet.
Okay. Alright, Combox 2.0, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, I really can't hit all of the like creep factor points here. There's just so much that gives him away. So yeah. Anyway, outside of that, I'm planning to rewatch Dragon Prince.
Ow.
Very nice.
Yep. They just announced like literally yesterday that the show got renewed for the rest of the planned series.
4 more
Really?
seasons, right?
Yep, 4 more seasons.
Heck yeah.
That's weird. Ordinarily, they just do it in one season increments.
Yeah. I mean, the Dragon Prince originally was like slated for 3 seasons. Like they were guaranteed 3 seasons by Netflix. They got those 3 seasons. That's kind of why like season 3 feels like such a conclusion, is because they didn't know if they were going to get renewed after the 3rd season. But yeah, this time they got the rest of the 4 seasons confirmed. So yeah.
So did like the guy just have seasons 4 through 7 locked away somewhere, and he's like, "Hey, got these here for you."
Like if they didn't get renewed by Netflix, they were going to finish it off in comic format.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like they wanted to finish the story.
Like,
they're more than just an animation company. They're also a video game company. They actually like were working on the Dragon Prince video game before they made the show.
what? Okay.
Although the Dragon Prince video game, obviously, since it's like 20 people working on this, isn't going to be the most ambitious thing ever.
No.
But yeah, no. Yeah.
Does Dragon Prince use 3D animation?
It uses it's hand-drawn 3D.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything is hand-drawn.
I was about to say, why is a video game studio able to make a Netflix TV show? But that explains it.
Yeah. Did you watch Klaus?
No, I did not.
Okay, well, Klaus was also a 3D animated show or movie. It was a movie. Yeah. So 3D animation, hand-drawn animation is coming back. But yeah, no. It's 3D and it's like hand-drawn. So kind of 3D 2D, I guess. 2.5D.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex told me that you started watching it, Pink.
Yep.
What do you think of it?
I loved it. Loved every second of it.
Who's your favorite character?
From the main cast, it would have to be Rayla, but
Rayla?
I'm sure you've probably seen my signature on the forum.
Yeah,
like
I saw
Amaya,
that. Yeah. I did
anytime
saw that,
she's on screen, she absolutely steals the entire show.
Oh yeah. Yeah, everybody loves Amaya. I think she's
What's
everybody's
not to
favorite
love?
character. Yeah.
Eh,
My favorite character is Bait.
literally named Bay.
Yeah, no, his name is
No,
Bait.
Bait.
Bait. Okay, I thought
B-A-I-T.
He's literally called Bait because his species is used as bait to catch fish.
Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, I love Bait.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bless
no,
you.
Amaya is a great character. It's really really cool how they like use actual sign language for her,
Mm-hmm.
and it's apparently like really well done sign language, like some of the best that you like in any TV show ever. Not that there's many
Yeah,
TV shows that do sign
it's
language.
an absolute testament to their animation team.
Yeah, because sign language has to be really hard to animate. I mean, they've said that like it's really really hard for them to animate.
whew. Anything
But-
else to say about the show?
I mean, it's really really good. The villain is one of the best villains in like a TV show. Like,
Would you agree with that, Pink?
Yes.
yeah, Viren is an amazing villain.
All right.
And like the interesting thing is that he's not like entirely like he's sinister, but also like goofy kind of, which is interesting.
I like villains with a sense of humor.
But like his humor is more like he's goofy in the sense that like he's outrageously like the entire show is filled with like very humorful characters, and he's humorful because he doesn't have humor, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Like his humor is based around not being funny, I guess, or not like
Right.
tapping into the same like in jokes that everybody else in the show has, like even his own children, and he has children, by the way, who are like, yeah,
Huh.
it's a very very interesting dynamic in the show.
Oh,
And
all
then
right.
like the side characters that they meet along the way are all really really interesting. Like there's a girl who just like rides on the back of her dog,
Huh.
her three-legged dog. Spoiler.
Ah.
There's a pirate that has like eye patches on both of his eyes.
Of course he does.
There's a an illusionist who like eats maggots but disguises it as real food.
Ah.
Yeah, like the show is chock full of character, and it's really, really, really well written as well. But yeah, outside of that, I also watched Train to Busan. Busan.
Which I keep hearing good things about.
Yeah, I've heard that it's like the one of the best zombie movies ever made. It's a Korean zombie film for those of you who don't know. And yeah, it was good. It was good. I wouldn't say it was amazing or anything, but it was good, you know. Like it was a quality zombie movie. It wasn't like especially special, but it was good.
Ooh, all right.
Interesting ending. Interesting ending, but apparently very tropey for Korean films.
Ah, well, I hear it's getting a sequel.
Is it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got like fast zombies, so
Ooh. I mean, I'm
yeah.
fine with fast zombies, but I'm more interested if they can do slow zombies in a kind of interesting way, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean it's good, you know, like the zombies feel like a threat, but like also they have their limitations that like the survivors work around. And they create like an interesting dynamic with that. Also, it has a really cool uh side character who just kind of punches zombies in the face. I love that character. He's great. He's apparent like the person who plays him is apparently a MMA coach.
Ha!
So yeah, it was good. It was fun, you know. It was a bit long, but it was fun, you know. It was just a zombie movie.
It reminds me of when they introduced the character of Jesus. From the character in Walking Dead, there's a character named Jesus, who is referred to as such because he looks like Jesus.
Right.
And they brought him into the video game just for a guest spot in Season 3. And his whole thing is that he does crazy kung fu bullshit. There is a scene where Clementine is getting like pulled through a door by a zombie, right?
Right.
Jesus just runs up and does a full pro wrestling drop kick to the zombie's face to send him flying out the door.
I love it.
Yeah.
The zombies will never expect a suplex! Alright then. Anything else?
No, I think that covers it. I haven't really like gotten anything set up in my apartment yet besides like the TV. I haven't set up my PlayStation or my computer. I just got my computer like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 days ago I got my computer. I haven't set it up. So I don't have a desk to put it on really. So either I have it just like casually on the floor or I wait till I buy a desk.
Ooh. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I get you. Alright. Pink, what you been doing this past week?
All right, so this past week I watched the Dragon Prince in its entirety.
Ooh.
There are 3 seasons. I watched it in about 3 days, so that was a season a day.
Ooh.
The seasons aren't terribly long though.
No, they're only 9 episodes.
Yeah, 9 30-minute episodes.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not long at all.
No.
No, very easy to get through, and because it's so good, you know, you don't notice that you're getting through it so fast.
Heh.
And then you're disappointed at the end because there's not any more to watch, and I'm going through withdrawals right now, so pray for me.
I need more Dragon Prince. Put it in a syringe and shoot it into my veins.
Yeah.
Alright. So, what was your primary takeaway for that series, Pink?
I thought it was an incredibly well done series. As we've discussed previously, it's from the same writer who did a lot of the Avatar: The Last Airbender writing.
Yep.
And there's a clear influence, or at least thumbprint, from his writing skills that you can tell, even if you didn't know that it was from the same guy, you could probably be able to piece it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was very happy with everything that they accomplished. Very happy to have Aaron Ehoz back in the television making world.
Eh. All right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of debating on whether I like this show better than Avatar at the moment because I'm still in the honeymoon phase, but I
Right.
think there are some things that this show just does entirely better than Avatar did, but at the same time, Zuko is probably my favorite fictional character of all time,
Right.
regardless of any fictitious piece of work.
Huh, all right.
Right.
Now, would there be any specific flaw that you can pinpoint in the series having just watched it?
That I have to wait for the next 4 seasons.
All right.
The only thing I can think of for that show is that, like, the politics of the show, and by politics I mean like the in-world politics. I'm not talking about like
Yeah.
politics outside of the world. The politics inside the world aren't exactly as well developed as I would like, but considering it's a children's show,
Right.
yeah,
It's
not
a
that
children's show with 9 episode seasons, so I wouldn't expect a lot out of that.
right. Yeah.
All right.
But I think that in that category, Avatar did the in-world politics better. But I mean, it's an amazing show. Yeah, it's right up
Absolutely.
there. It's right up there with Avatar, and I can't wait to see where they go
I can't
going
think.
forward.
I haven't watched very much of Avatar at all, but the only bit I can think of for politics in that series is there is no siege in Ba Sing Se.
Right. I just mean, like, when I say in-world politics, I also refer to like in-world war logistics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, like, the conquering of Ba Sing Se is actually really, really well written.
Huh, okay.
And yeah, just like it just Avatar understands a little better like how war works than I would say Dragon Prince does. But like, yeah,
All right.
I think that Dragon Prince has better character, I want to say, like in terms of the development of character outside of Zuko for Avatar. I think that Dragon Prince develops its characters really, really, really well.
Yes.
Like just every part of the show, like even random side characters get a good amount of development. And considering how short each season is, they pack so much development into what they have. It's actually amazing how much
Yes,
development they
there's
do.
never a wasted moment on screen.
No. Like even the humor is really, really strong. I would say the humor is stronger than Avatar's is, and that's pretty high praise because Avatar has good humor too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, I got one last question just to check for like one more topic of conversation between you two about it. What would you say, Pink, is your least favorite character in the series?
That is an excellent question. Let's see.
While you think about that, Soon, what is your least favorite character in Dragon Prince?
Let me look up the list because it's hard for me to say what the least favorite character is. I mean, is that including like random person of the week characters?
I suppose it could be.
Oh.
I didn't like the guy with the big sword. He was dumb.
The big sword.
The big sword.
What guy is that?
When they first encounter the Sunforge blade,
I gotta step out for a second.
The Sunforged Blade. Oh yeah, that random guy. I don't even know his name.
So if I have to pick a character, it's gonna be someone random off the street.
Yeah. Jeez, what was his name? I mean, I really don't know.
I don't either.
I guess Opelli, maybe? No, not Opelli. Nyx. I'd say Nyx. No, not Nyx. I like Nyx, kind of. Food Chain, maybe? Oh, Cassif. Cassif for sure.
Cass, what now?
Cassif. You know the guy who, like, his, like, father was killed by...
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. That guy. The guy who's just, like, really, really dull and then gets turned into a monster.
Yeah. I can agree with you there on that.
Yeah.
He
that
does
guy
seem
is-
more like less a character for the show and more a character introduced to become a obstacle.
Yeah, he's more of an obstacle than he is anything else.
Yeah.
As well as, like, a
He
way
he
to
exists for
give-
plot reasons, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, as well as a way to give someone an army. I'm
Yeah.
trying to not spoil anything. But yeah, I'd say that guy. Of course,
Yeah,
like,
good choice.
yeah.
Sword, okay. Did Pink decide on his?
I think we both agreed on a character to dislike.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck sword.
Oh no, it's actually this other guy who's like
Yeah.
just a plot development kind of character that like furthers the plot rather than anything else.
Okay, yeah, I can get where you dislike it. In a series full of characters that develop, I can see why you dislike a static character who exists only to move the plot forward.
And he doesn't exist for very long either. Spoiler.
Rip.
Rip.
Well, yeah, kind of rip.
Alright. Pink, done anything else notable this week?
Nothing notable. I've been playing Super Mario World again, but that's it.
Alright. Eddie,
Yeah.
you platinumed Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
No spoilers.
And then I was unsatisfied with that, so I went back and reached like 99.9%, and the 100% is in the works.
Alright. Is there any special reward to 100%, or is it just like, oh hey, big number?
No, you get the special reward for platinuming it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so good game.
Good enough for you to decide to 100% it.
Yeah, this is the third game that I've done that with. The other two being Spider-Man PS4, which I did because it was really easy. And I was like, whatever, I might as well. I don't have anything else to play.
And I assume the other one was AC Brotherhood?
Yes.
Yeah. Which, that one is supposed to be a really hard one to 100% because there are certain items that are missable, permanently missable, right?
Yes.
Yes. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, that... Ooh. You gotta go in with a plan on that, don't you?
Yeah, but the thing is, the item that's missable is given from a side mission, from what I remember, and then you need to get two more. But the two more you get through either the tombs or through getting mugged.
Oh, no.
But the thing is,
mugged.
yeah, but when you kill the muggers, they only have like a freaking, I don't know, like 5% chance of dropping it.
Okay.
One of them, and you need 3. So yeah, that's the hard part of 100% in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. That and the freaking the missions that are time trials as well.
Yeah. Okay, how does I know that Brotherhood is your favorite AC, right?
Yeah,
How does Ghost compare?
I'd say Ghosts. Like, aside from, obvious differences that they need to be made, or else Sucker Punch would probably be sued. Aside from things like that, I'd say Ghost of Tsushima is basically like modern Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
I think that they could probably just get away with straight up ripping some gameplay aspects, because, I mean, how many
yeah.
how many gameplay concepts are there that are actually genuinely copyrighted no one else can do?
I actually don't know.
Playable load screens.
I thought,
that's
for the
one.
longest time, I think it was thought that Bamco had the copyright on those, but are we sure about that?
I think Bamco has the copyright on that, but the copyright is running out in like I don't know 5 years or something
yeah.
like that.
By the time the load screens will have gone to the age of the
Yeah.
By
By the time everyone's got
Stone
fucking
Age.
SSD drives.
But yeah, so I don't know if it would actually be a thing of like they could sue, but I think if Sucker Punch copied more of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, or like just overall the old Assassin's Creed formula, then people would complain, because people already complained that it looked too much like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I legitimately saw so many threads already that were like, "Man, this looks like Assassin's Creed. This will be shit. It doesn't look like The Witcher." Actual comment. I'm not even joking with that. I'm not exaggerating.
Witcher's
I am-
combat sucked.
Is that
Yeah.
satire?
No, that's the thing. Like, at least I don't think it was satire, because it wasn't worded that way. And the only change I made to that comment was I paraphrased it, because I don't remember the exact words.
Oh yeah, I saw that too, and yeah, no, it wasn't satire. I read that article. It was not satire.
If you want to find some cancerous opinions, you go on Reddit.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a Reddit. It was like an article.
Oh, they made an article about it as well. I saw people on Reddit say that.
Yeah, no, it's so stupid. I hate the Witcher fan base.
Yeah.
Like they just want everything to be just like The Witcher, and The Witcher sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't suck, but it's like not great. Not as
It's
great as
mediocre.
people say it is.
It's mediocre, or like slightly above it.
Yeah, it's like slightly above mediocre. I mean, it's like beautiful and everything, and
I don't know about
the world-
beautiful.
the world is, well, yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
The world is really interesting, but like, I don't know, the gameplay isn't that good, and the story isn't that good, and the characters aren't that good.
The characters
don't know.
are for that not good, but
I don't know. I just don't get. I don't get it. But then I'm a huge Witcher hater, only because people adore it so much, and I just don't get why.
I mean, I think the Witcher's world is built okay, but then the one part that I had my fun with, the part I liked the most was the freaking Blood and Wines DLC, because that was just a completely different game set in France.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I
Yeah.
just appreciate like the cultural representation of an underrepresented culture.
Yeah.
I love when video games represent the underrepresented.
Which Witcher is mostly based off Polish culture, right?
Right, right. And you don't see very much like Polish or Slavic mythology.
No, you don't. Now, with that said, isn't Witcher actually considered to be pretty popular with the 4chan incel crowd, because there's almost no, like, non-white people in that game?
I don't know.
I've never heard like race brought into The Witcher.
Oh, well, the Netflix series, but that was
okay, yeah, Netflix.
That was a whole fucking thing, which
Right.
was, yeah, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
The fucking Witcher, who cares?
I mean, I remember that with Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh, that was a clusterfuck right there.
That one was just beyond stupid, you know?
Like that one was stupid because like both sides of the argument were being complete dumbasses.
Yeah. And like the developers were just like, we just wanted to make a historically accurate game set in like the middle of Bohemia, not even a big city or anything, just like in the countryside of fucking Bohemia during the 1400s.
Right, and there would have been non-European immigrants into Europe in that time. There would have been only a few, and they would have only been in the cities.
Yeah, they would have only been in the big cities, and this was in like the rural area of Bohemia.
Not to mention, Bohemia was part of the Holy Roman Empire at that time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the Holy Roman Empire sucked, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to immigrate to a European country in that time, I would not have chosen the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Addie's people were the villains in that game.
Yeah, they actually did speak Hungarian, even in the subtitles. I was surprised about that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they did a lot of work to make it as historically accurate as possible.
They didn't make it accurate. They didn't make it accurate enough, from what I could tell, because there wasn't enough casting, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like people discovered that you could just take a like quarterstaff and just like dominate everybody in the world with it. And you were basically a superhuman Flash type character if you leveled that way. So it didn't end up too historically accurate, but
No. My favorite historically accurate move is when you shoot a guy with a bow and then he does a fucking teleport to front kick you.
that was a glitch though. So
I know, but it's still one of my favorite
They
glitches I've ever seen.
they fixed that.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Going back to that. Let's see how much I can talk about without any noticeable big spoilers for the story.
How's
Well-
Jin as a character?
Pretty good. I'd say the writing of the whole game kind of suffers, because you can tell that it was based on the pretense of, oh, samurai were these honorable warriors and bushido and shit, and not really no.
Oh man, you
Yeah.
don't get to fight any like piece of shit samurai who abuse the peasantry?
You do.
Oh.
You do.
Well, not abuse the peasantry, rob them and kill them, but not
That
abuse.
is abusing the peasantry. if robbing and like killing someone isn't abusing them, I don't know what is.
But yeah. that one's funny, because they do a twist with those people. Because at first they don't seem like those that bad people, and then you find out about what they do.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
But yeah, the game is very good about promoting just exploration, and like people, whenever Mike brings up Skyrim, or like freaking people bring up The Witcher, I sigh and I roll my eyes, because exploration, like, sure, you can explore in those games. There's shit there. I mean, 90% of it was cut out because the game was rushed or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I mean,
That- that's
you're-
like-
I
yeah.
would not say that Skyrim is like the pinnacle of exploration.
well, especially
It-
considering that everything looks the fucking same in Skyrim.
Look,
Yeah.
there's a gray rock. Oh my gosh, I found another gray rock.
my favorite part of
There's
Sky,
so-
my favorite part of Skyrim exploration is that there's this one like interesting side quest that you can do, where there's this dude who can who is the only person who can cure vampirism in the game, and he's being weird, so you have to investigate him. And that freaking those missions, those string of missions are so finished that if you look into game files, there's no end trigger. Like, the game gives you tells you that the mission has ended, but the game still checks the mission internally,
Ah!
Yep.
because they just didn't finish the actual freaking missions.
I mean, it's Bethesda. Like,
Yeah.
do you expect a like well-functioning game out of Bethesda? Anyway, how's
Yeah.
the exploration in Ghost of Tsushima?
So there are various biomes that you can walk through, and most things are pretty well differentiated as for where they are and what they are. But on top of that, you also like on the start of the game, literally after the tutorial, you can just walk up to a freaking trader, and he just gives you an outfit that makes it easier to explore if you're not into that sort of thing.
Mm.
He just gives it to you for free.
I love biomes.
The freaking the part of it, yeah.
Yeah, but like, how is like just like, does exploring feel rewarding? Like, do you come across really cool things in the world or really interesting things in the world?
Yes, the world is very, very well made, as in very good looking.
Mhm. Well, yeah,
there's all
obviously.
there's a lot of things to check out. You can just happen upon missions, obviously, because that's something you'd expect. But the thing I found out is that the game has radiant quests that aren't actual real quests, but are still in the game. Like they're not tracked in the game as quests.
Mm.
But if you happen upon them, you can just play it, and it gives you experience or the equivalent.
Was it just like helping a little grandma bring in like her food or her rice or something?
But it's like now the one I happened upon, and apparently there's more. But the one I happened upon was this priest, near a lighthouse, is standing around with a dead body, and then Jin asks him what the hell's going on, and he's like, "People have been poisoned. Please help burn the body before the freaking plague goes and gets everyone." And so you can go and burn a couple of bodies, and that's the mission.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's just a radiant quest. Actual side quests that are tracked as such don't have too much of a difference between normal quests, by which I mean that they're also like cinematic and well made.
Right.
The only difference between a side quest and a main quest is that the main quest will be about roughly 3 times as long, and that's about it.
I think that's pretty normal for these types of games. Maybe not Assassin's Creed, but like that's pretty normal for RPGs.
Well, for RPGs, but this isn't an RPG; it's an open world action adventure game.
Okay. Horizon Zero Dawn then.
So
Horizon Zero Dawn had cinematic side quests, and it was an open world action adventure game.
That one was more on RPG-ish side, but yeah,
Okay.
I do remember the side quests being more the cinematic side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one can easily see where Sucker Punch has spent like 5 or 6 years working on this since they finished Second Son.
Yeah.
Apparently, they actually like.
But yeah, they only spent like 3 years on this game actually.
Really?
They
Yeah.
just because
Yeah,
they were
they-
working on a different game that got
Yeah.
canned in like 2016 or something.
They canceled that one. Yeah. God of War actually had the same thing happen. Was like, Santa Monica Studios was actually going to make like a sci-fi RPG, and they got like fairly well into development, and then like it was so bad that they canceled it, and it almost bankrupted their company. And so like the only thing they could do at that point was make God of War.
Ooh.
Like they were trying to like branch out from just another God of War game, and then like they almost went bankrupt because their game just wasn't developing well, and so they had to fall back on God of War, and God of War was just like kind of the thing that it was like make it or break it.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And by God of War I mean the new one, 2018.
Yeah. It is a bit sad how sometimes with game developers they try and branch out and do new things, and the end result is no, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see what else I can bring up that was really good without spoiling stuff.
Heh.
Armor changes. As you upgrade it, our armor's looks change, but you can still go back to the previous looks if you like those better.
Ooh, all right.
Which is a pretty nice addition. It's not completely full transmogrification, but
Heh.
it's getting there.
I mean, on a certain level, you don't want to be wearing ninja gear and have it with the stats of a samurai armor, or vice versa.
Mm.
Because then it would just kind of like... to me, it'd look ridiculous, a samurai in full fucking armor parkouring.
I mean, that you still do that, though. That's the thing. Most of the armor isn't bulky. It's like... It's more... Most of the armor in the game is more like Orochi's than Kensei's.
I
Or like
see.
Shigoki's. But...
Yeah, Shigoki's.
Yeah, there is there is an armor like freaking like Kensei's though.
Dude, imagine if they gave that Ghost of Tsushima the weight gain system from San Andreas and Red Dead 2.
That you could play as Shigoki.
Yeah. Or Chris Farley as a ninja.
So yeah, I'm split between the armors because I like some of them. I would like to use some of them, but like I feel like there's too many like just normal samurai gear that looks more or less the same, and there's not enough like normal wear or like shit that you would imagine a guy calling himself the Ghost would wear.
Roy.
The
'Cause
ghost
there
can
is the
wear the ghost can wear whatever he damn well wants, Addy.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna spoil one small thing because it's just the reward for like doing one collectible.
Okay.
So if you go to all of the onsens, you unlock the fundoshi.
Oh yeah.
So so if you do exploration well enough and go to all of the onsens and then find items that are hidden in the world, by the way, then you can just be a guy with the Tengen freaking helmet, the straw hat, that's a bucket, the bucket head. You can wear that on a fundoshi and kill people in that.
So soon in pink, a fundoshi is pretty much a Japanese speedo.
I love it.
Yeah, I figured.
Japanese speedo, but with less in the back and more in the front.
Yeah.
I've seen them. I played Way of the Samurai.
Ha.
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, I think I really like the quote on that, because some of the items that you get special quotes and just descriptions and stuff like that. The Fundoshi's description is a real samurai doesn't need no clothes. Jin Sakai after too much sake.
Ha. I like that it attributes the quote to him.
Yeah.
Like
The
the idea of the
characters-
hero,
yeah.
the hero gets drunk, naked, starts a fight.
Yeah. I'd say the characters are mostly well written. Like I liked most of them. The one that there is a character who's supposed to be divisive on purpose, and I don't like him because, well, yeah,
Yeah.
like he is still well written because I don't like the character, but I don't like the character still.
Ha.
But yeah, one character that I wanted to point out. This game has its own version of the annoying asshole friend that the main character doesn't tell to go away. But Jin tells him to go away,
Ha.
and unlike most versions of this character, you can like the way he speaks and the things he does, you can tell through his mission line that he's actually trying to be helpful and trying to do good stuff. He just literally can't because he's so bad at his job.
Okay, so it's not Micah.
It's not Micah. It's actually a guy who wants to help, but like they cannot stop swindling the Mongols and then nearly dying.
We
Yeah,
got we got
yeah.
no time for faith, Jin.
Yeah.
Is there a side quest where you get drunk?
It's
I
not
don't
a real
no.
samurai. It's not a real samurai movie unless you're drunk 50% of the time, anyways.
Very
Yeah.
true.
True. No, I don't think Jin has enough time to drink sake. Like sometimes they bring it up. Sometimes they bring it up that they're gonna do it, and then they get attacked, and they never do it.
Do you know what that means? DLC.
Oh,
Yeah.
Adventures in Alcoholism DLC.
I love drunk side quests. They're really fun.
There isn't a drunk side quest, but there is a very interesting way they use the usual like main character gets drugged up for fantasy sequence thing, because the sequence isn't all that much fantasy. And to understand how the character got drunk, got freaking high, you actually need to research. Because there's this side quest where Jin needs to follow a certain kind of flowers, and there's a guy who wants to stop him from firing something, and he keeps, from what I remember, firing like flaming arrows at him or something.
Right.
And then it ends in a fantasy fight with the guy who's become a demon. But he's not actually really a demon. He just like looks slightly more scary, I suppose. But he's not any stronger from what I could tell. So it's still just a normal dude. And then you kill him. And if you research it, the flowers, if they're burned, then they get you high.
Ha!
So yeah, but pretty good game, yeah.
I kind of appreciate the idea of Jin just being like, "Goddamn Mongols, let me get hammered." How are the Mongols as villains?
Pretty good. Even Mongolian people, from what I could tell, like how they portrayed Khotun Khan, like how Khotun Khan portrays the Mongols as a whole. Yeah, as a whore.
Oh no!
He's really easy. No.
Like you walk into the chamber for the final boss fight, and Khotun Khan is like seductively laying on his side, and he's just like, "Hey, sailor."
He's just like Sokka in the tent before Zuko walks in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, from what I could tell, even Mongolian people like how Khotun Khan represents the Mongol people, because he's portrayed as cunning and a good strategist and good at a fight. And literally the only way Jin beats him is by using like poison. So
Didn't a lot of the Khans die from poisoning?
I mean, technically, I don't think Khotun dies from poisoning. I think Khotun dies to the blade for real, but Jin uses a lot of poison to get to him, so who knows?
Man.
And Khotun Khan isn't even the actual final boss. That's the funny.
All right then.
Yeah, it's a morality tale in the end, and yeah.
Spoiler.
I don't think the fact that it's a morality tale is much of a spoiler, honestly.
Yeah.
No, but the fact that like the guy you think is the final boss isn't the final boss.
I probably could have predicted that.
Okay, but like still, spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna spoil all the game for you.
He didn't spell out who is the final boss. He just spelled out who isn't the final boss. There's a difference there. All right, that's one character we know isn't the final boss. Now let's look over the entire cast of 100 characters.
Yeah, it's random peasant from this small village that he liberated.
Oh no!
But yeah, so I'm gonna spoil the biggest part of the game. The game is made up of 3 acts.
Oh no!
You can't play this game now. It is ruined.
Oh, I gotta make a spoiler for it too. This game has gameplay.
Yes.
Oh!
I didn't want to reveal that.
I'm done. I'm leaving.
I wanted Soon and Pink to think that this was a Telltale game, dude.
No.
Why did you have to tell them?
How am I supposed to choose my dialogue choices that all mean the same thing now? How am I supposed to choose between no, hesitant no, sarcastic no, and questioning no?
Yeah. Freaking that I am going to say that there are some spoilers. There are some choices in what Jin says sometimes, but it's to further flesh out the character in how you want him to act. Usually.
Yeah.
So a BioWare game, but like.
Not really, because most of the cutscenes just play out how they're supposed to, and sometimes they just ask you like, Jin, do you think killing people in the hundreds in a day is good for your health? And Jin can go, yes, I think it's good. Or Jin can go, I guess no, but I have to do it.
Shit's fucked, man.
Yeah. Pink, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
That was very weird. Yeah, Pink, like, up until you spoke there, Pink, your icon was just flat firing off constantly, like you were just nonstop monologuing.
I am going to say my favorite character is still the horse. Your horse gets a lot of like the horse doesn't even get freaking story cutscenes or shit. But the I guess credits to each mission that you get, because there's these small animations that tie back into the open world gameplay after you've done a side mission or a normal mission.
Okay,
but,
I got a question.
Yes?
When you get off the horse, does the horse charge into combat alongside you like in Skyrim?
Yes. Well,
Oh.
it doesn't charge. It doesn't charge into combat. It charges over the Mongols and then runs away because it's scared. It's scared of the flaming arrows. But
Oh my gosh, flaming arrows.
yeah.
Whew.
Oh, also, I did some research, by which I mean that in trying to get 100%, I actually paid attention to the archers. Horse archery is a thing.
Oh, it is?
As in the AI does it. I knew that you could do it, but I didn't really count it as towards normal horse archery. But the AI does do it.
I assume mostly
I
the
would hope
Mongols.
so. I would hope so.
But yeah, I just needed to confirm because last week I wasn't sure if they do it because I felt like they did, but I never had enough time to pay attention to the archers. But now that I'm all buff and kitted out, they can only kill me in 5 hits instead of 2.
Heh.
Genuinely, sometimes I'm surprised because I have gear that makes it so I have damage resistance, and then I also have a charm of damage resistance 3, which massively decreases the amount of damage taken, and 1 hit still takes out like 25%. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I don't know what else to say. The collectibles are pretty good. Some of them are hidden, like that, as I've alluded to before. There are collectibles hidden throughout the freaking map. I can't find words.
Heh.
But yeah, there are just collectibles throughout the map randomly that blend in with the background for a reason, and you can tell the game to look for them for you if you want to collect them, or if you just really need, like, I don't know, a new mask or like a new straw hat that you really want, that you can just like tell it to, hey, look for vanity items that are in the world, and it will look for them for you. But you need to spend an experience point to actually unlock the option to tell the game to look for vanity items, and you need to be in the traveler's uniform, which makes it so like that's just for collecting shit.
Hang on. I got a question.
Yeah.
So when you ask the game to guide you to things, you're asking nature to guide you to things, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the wind.
Yeah.
So you are having Jin look to the sky and go, God, I need a new hat.
Well, not God,
Not
because
God.
not God. Okay, I think I can say this because it happens in the first hour.
Yeah.
So
No.
there's during on an event, it is revealed that both of Jin's parents are dead, and
Of course they are.
Jin's nanny, who is a really nice character, by the way, she has good missions. But yeah, so she's like, your father is the wind behind you, and your mother is the birds and the bees, or whatever the hell, in the trees.
She's fucking herself?
Yes. So basically, the in-lore explanation is that Jin believes that the wind is guiding him, and that it's his father,
Ha!
and he believes that that the birds are sent by his mother, so that's why he follows them.
So he thinks his dad is Susano?
Kind of. Well, I think overall, like, he thinks that his father got the power from Susanoo to guide the winds, just so he knows where to go. They never really go into shit like this because it's not particularly the kami are not particularly relevant, and there's not too much mythology, or like not like not there's no yokai in the game, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, I mean, it's still trying to be realistic and historical soon.
Yeah. But I just mean, like, is there like even mentions of like the mythology?
Yes.
There is. Okay, good. I thought you meant just like that there was just very little mention of the Shinto beliefs.
Oh no, there are whole. I keep saying whore instead of whole. There are whole Shinto shrines that you can go to and then get like the different kami's help in the form of omori charms that give you better stats and shit.
Are there any like side quests that center around the gods?
There is one,
There's one.
where yes, so one kami, I believe, I believe they're a kami, whatever, get a completely separate collectible to the Shinto shrines. Inari has their own shrines, and the Inari shrines, you find the Inari shrines by finding foxes through the
Right.
land, and the foxes guide you to them. So in one mission, you need to find out who's been vandalizing Inari shrines and killing foxes,
Huh.
and then all of the foxes gang up and kill the guy.
Cool.
Huh. And this game also would have been set around the time that Buddhism was starting to really spread in Japan, wouldn't it?
No, I think that was before this,
Oh.
because there's like the big Buddha statues in places.
Oh, okay. Did they talk about that religious divide at all between Shintoism and Buddhism?
Not too much. By which I mean not really, not at all, because I think I didn't look too much into it whether it would have been it would have been divided between Shintoism and Buddhism in Tsushima around that time. Then again, I believe people would have been too preoccupied with the Mongols than to care about which god they're praying to. But yeah, mostly it's portrayed similarly or basically the same as how it is in Japan right now. Like, well, a bit more. Religion is more accepted, I guess, in the games world than it is in normal Japan. But it's still like, well, there's Buddha, and there's the kami, and both.
Both. And eventually, at some point, they end up throwing Jesus in there, too.
Yeah. I mean, I from what I remember, the official Shinto statement on other religions is, we don't care what you believe in, just don't be an asshole. Like I think that was the most recent statement that I heard from the Japanese Shinto something or other representative.
Heh. All right. So,
Yeah.
you've still only got the one playthrough, right? You're 100%ing it?
Yeah, so the thing I'm stuck on, the reason I'm saying it's at 99% is technically I have everything aside from the clothes colors, and that's basically it. But to get those, you need to find flowers, and the flowers are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. You need to know where to look them, and I haven't been able to figure out if they're a finite resource or if they just respawn.
Ooh, all right. I would
So
have to assume that flowers respawn.
I would have to assume, but the place I've been trying to farm them, it has been out for the past, like, I don't know, 2 sessions, so I'm starting to think that's not the case. Well, that and the fact that there's a separate tracker for flowers that you can set on the traveler's outfit, and they only have trackers for things that are finite.
Oh.
And if they are finite, then I'm completely screwed because freaking there's flowers in the mountains and shit, and I don't really like going to the mountains because teleportation takes a while. But then the thing is, teleportation takes a while compared to everything else because the game, like even on my PS4 Slim, the game takes like, I don't know, a second to load.
Heh.
from boot, I mean, not even respawns, just from boot.
Okay.
So yeah, basically next to no freaking load times.
Heh.
It's definitely more than a second, but I don't think it's more than like 5. I haven't actually counted it yet, but yeah.
All right.
And then the other big game I've been playing is Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, okay. So, Final Fantasy VII, if memory...
So how much? Let's start with this. How much do we want to spoil? Because there's things that I'm very confused about.
Final Fantasy VII, I would say by now, is in Citizen Kane. It was his sled territory. Every single thing about that game's plot has been spoiled to death. I'd say it's pretty much all in the public consciousness by now.
Yeah, I think everybody knows that like Aerith dies and
Oh no, I didn't reach that part yet.
heh,
I actually have. I'm like 15 hours after it, but yeah.
Sephiroth is not the real main villain. Genova is, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. But
I mean,
but Genova is Sephiroth. But Cloud is also Sephiroth. But Cloud is Cloud, who is also Jack, or not Jack, Zack.
mhm.
That's the part
I'm
that's
so
confusing me right
confused.
now. Yeah, that's the part that's confusing me right now, is that they revealed that Cloud is a Sephiroth clone, and the Sephiroth we saw is probably a Sephiroth clone, or just Sephiroth's real and ghost.
Yep.
It's his Force ghost. And then there were other people in the game who were also Sephiroth clones, who Sephiroth killed.
So,
And then
So that he could become the ultimate Sephiroth.
like Jet
yeah,
Li.
Yeah, like Jet Li in the one. That
but
was a good movie.
but then Cloud and Tifa fall into the life water, and then they have a dream together, and they figure out that Cloud is actually Cloud, who does exist and is not Sephiroth.
What? Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's not where you want W, because you might be able to untangle shit.
there's some stuff I know about Final Fantasy VII's plot, some I don't. If memory serves, the whole thing between Cloud and Zack is Zack's an old war hero, one of the biggest and the baddest, and Cloud was like his subordinate, and the two of them were best friends, and Cloud looked up to him a ton. But there was a fight, some battle in some war that went disastrously.
Yeah,
And-
near Midgar, I believe.
Yeah, and Zack killed a ton of dudes, but he went down. He went down fighting, but he died anyways, right? And
Yeah.
Cloud got amnesia, but his subconscious image of idolizing Zack stuck with him. So up until he gets his memory back, Cloud is subconsciously trying to emulate Zack, which results in him having personality issues once it occurs to him, oh, I'm not behaving like me, I'm behaving like a dead guy that I used to look up to before I lost my memory.
Yeah,
Like, I think he even wears the same outfit that Zack did and uses the
he
same
does.
sword.
He does.
The same sword, too, right? The Buster Sword?
I believe so. Yeah. Well, from what I remember, what they showed is, in the reactor, Sephiroth throws out Zack. Zack falls on like this egg pod, and then immediately breaks his spine and dies. Cloud just
Oh.
walks over. Picks up Zack's sword, goes into the reactor after Sephiroth, freaking steps Sephiroth.
Right. Okay, what I remember is I feel like I did see a little bit from Zack's death in Crisis Core, which is supposed to be the prequel, I think, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, and there I think Zack's last moments are him charging into a horde of soldiers, and he says, what is it that's the stereotypical thing for ramen shop owners in Japan to say when they open up their business? Like, their equivalent of come get some, but it's like, come get some ramen. So pretty much Zack
Boy.
goes out saying, come get some.
Yeah.
And I guess after that, Sephiroth throws him into a nuclear reactor?
Well, no, I think what happens, because I haven't reached the part where they actually untangle the Zack plotline yet, because I'm horribly under-leveled, but still keep beating the bosses somehow.
I like that when RPGs you can get by just by actually playing the game well.
But yeah, so I'll come back to that. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out the freaking story beats. So from what I gathered, what happened with Zack is that this thing happened between Sephiroth and Cloud and him, but he didn't die there. It just really looked like that, and they're trying to portray it because this game was written by M. Night Shyamalan, and we need twists every 15 minutes.
Yep.
And then Zack lived. They went on to try to go to Midgar, and then Zack died on the way to Midgar, and then Cloud got amnesia, and the game started.
Okay. And Sephiroth used to be a decent guy, right?
Sephiroth used to be like he used to keep to himself, but he was a normal dude, and then he died, and his ghost went crazy or something like that.
Yeah, and that's where we get the famous shot of him burning the village down, and he just slowly looks up.
Yeah.
Which,
I
I mean,
have
we
not-
can
I
can shit on Final Fantasy VII's god-awful graphics all we want. That's still a rad-ass shot.
Yeah, that shot is one of the best in the game. I did not hear freaking one-eyed angel.
One-eyed snake.
Yeah.
One-winged angel, yes.
Yeah, freaking it would be a slightly different game if Sephiroth was the one-eyed angel.
Yar.
But yeah. So I did not actually hear one-winged angel.
Would that have been a Advent Children thing to have One-Winged Angel play during that part? Because I know even though
No.
One-Winged Angel is a sequel, it still has a flashback to when Sephiroth burned down that village, and I think they have One-Winged Angel play during that.
From what I remember, Final Fantasy VII does have a version of one-winged angel, and then they just made the symphonic version for Advent Children. So
The
yeah,
Advent Children version's the one with the guitar, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that's a symphonic version, yes.
The best version.
Yeah, the one that got us claimed, but I don't even care because we got to use it. It's good.
Yeah. Final Fantasy, there's all kinds of things you can shit on with Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy has some of the best music in gaming.
Final Fantasy has a lot of good music. Most of the songs in this game, it's like I would like them if they weren't so freaking reused. Because like this part from the first disc in the introduction uses the same song as like I don't know freaking the last chamber in the game, as well as like 35 more other smaller freaking rooms or something like that, or like whole settlements sometimes.
That's a problem with big RPGs. You gotta reuse assets quite a bit. Now, I want to note the final. I just bring this up again because it always cracks me up every time I mention it. Final Fantasy, the music is so good they only put one song in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
It still fucking kills me that Smash Brothers doesn't have One-Winged Angel or Dancing Mad. I hate it. I hate it so much. Anyways, Addy, continue.
Yeah, Final Fantasy also has a lot of good characters. I usually like the weirdos like Vivi. I haven't even played 9, but I like Vivi.
I think Vivi's a design anyone can look at and be like, oh, that's a good character.
Yeah.
It's a fun, cute little sidekick, but at the same time, the fact that you can't actually see her face creates a mystery about her.
So yeah. I also re-downloaded the remix demo to compare to that. Because I compared them initially when the demo came out before the remake got released. And so I was like, well, now I have more experience with Final Fantasy VII. I can compare the two better. And I also read up some spoilers for the remake.
Oh,
Because so I really like how the conversations in the remake are actually the same as in the original game, only with the illusion of choice taken away.
well, they had to censor one dialogue part.
Yeah, I completely forgot about Tifa calling Barrett retarded.
Yeah.
Completely and utterly forgot about it, and then it came up and I left because it's so out of character and out of place.
Because isn't she ordinarily supposed to be like the kind, caring one?
No, that's Eris.
I guess so.
Yeah, Tifa's supposed to be like Tifa's supposed to care, but she's also like the tough girl of the group, and yeah, just like but like her relationship with Barrett was like it wasn't portrayed as one where they would call each other names.
Yeah. Oh, Pink, soon. You guys have seen that particular dialogue bit, haven't you, from Final Fantasy VII?
No.
Where Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa are running up a very, very long staircase. And Cloud and Barrett start joking about how long it is, and it's making them exhausted. And Barrett starts joking, like, if I don't make it to the end of this staircase, tell my daughter I love her, right? And then Tifa just says, would you two stop acting retarded? Because the game came out in 97 or 98, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, that
I mean, the
that
fact
was,
that over
yeah.
time it's become more of a harsh insult kind of makes the scene even funnier.
Yeah, that's why it was so funny to me, because like back then it was just a throwaway line, and then over time it has become this freaking like you never see it coming thing. Because unless you just know, oh yes, this exact screen, this Tiffany is going to call Bennett retarded, then you're not expecting it usually.
Um,
But yeah, so that I'm let's see where to go from that. uh,
oh boy. So they left it in on the PS1 game, the PS1 classic, didn't they?
yeah, the games are literally just the PS4 ROMs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I get that's actually really funny to just see it preserved in its original state, uncensored. I like that. I like that.
yeah, I appreciate it.
It's in the same way as like them leaving Mark as Mark danced crazy in Persona 1, you know?
Yeah. Like I feel like with freaking mistakes like this, it's better to preserve them and just go. We keep this up so we know not to do it again.
Yeah. I heard a
But
term for that the other day when they try to censor old stuff when they re-release it. They call it was in reference to Netflix removing Gone with the Wind, I believe. They called it the dirty delete, and it was some liberal news source like New York Times or something. But basically said like we can't just fucking delete the movies and pretend they didn't happen. Fucking keep the movies
Right.
up and say like some ugly shit gets said at some point in this movie because people at the time believed in this stuff. Like,
yeah.
we can't just delete history and expect us to learn from the history that we deleted.
Well, yeah, because obviously history is best known when it's not known.
Yeah.
It's the only way not to be a Nazi is by not knowing that Nazis exist.
Oh man. Yeah, that and Huck Finn. Every time they try to ban Huck Finn because it has the N word in it. Ugh. Yeah.
Oh.
What's the other one that always gets banned? Is To Kill a Mockingbird the one that always gets banned?
I mean, it has been banned, but it's usually banned by.
That's like one of the most anti-racist books there are.
No, it's not. It's not usually banned because of like racism. It's usually banned because of people who like people in the South.
Oh, okay, one of those situations.
Yeah.
I mean, Pink, correct me if I'm wrong here, but up until like in like 2000 or 99 or maybe 2001, Alabama removed all the Alias comics from stores because there's a scene in one of the books where Luke Cage and Jessica Jones get it on.
Right.
Like in 2000. Like is that not crazy to anyone else here? In 2000.
Apparently,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Alabama banned an episode of Arthur, a recent episode of Arthur, because they had a gay couple.
Oh no! What are we gonna do?
They showed a man marrying another man.
Oh! We've gone too far back.
It wasn't even like central to the plot, or even it barely mentioned it. It was just like they showed a wedding scene, and the guy he was marrying was a man.
Oh! I like how you get a little bit of Vince McMahon on there. Oh! We gotta stop to this. This is worse than when we had Chuck Palumbo marry a dude. Oh fuck! Anyone remember when Chuck Palumbo was running a gay gimmick?
Yes, with Billy Assman. I forgot his actual name. Billy Gunn, that's the one.
I forgot the other guy was Billy Gunn.
I remember that team vividly, even though I never even saw them in real life. I only know them from the freaking Here Comes the Pain.
You know, I know it was just a joke about gay people at the time, but in hindsight, that's kind of an odd bit of character development for Billy, for him to reach the conclusion. Hang on a second. Men have asses too!
Yeah.
Double the amount of asses! This is a great discovery! It's like the meme of the scientist holding the beaker. Anyway, what were we talking about? Final
We were
Fantasy
talking-
7.
Final Fantasy 7 always leads to dude ass. You gotta admit.
Yeah. Speaking of gay couples, I was surprised. What's the word I'm looking for? Freaking.
What? The scene where the 7 naked bodybuilders are implied to rape Cloud? You mean that scene?
No, I was pleasantly surprised that if you keep a good relationship with Barrett, then Barrett takes Cloud on a date at one point.
Right, but only if you don't romance Aerith, Tifa, or Yuffie.
I'm not romancing anyone. Is the thing. I still got Aerith because I guess speaking to a girl means that I'm romancing her. I don't know, like. But yeah, like I'm reading a guide in freaking places where I genuinely don't know what the hell to do, and and I just saw that as I was skimming for the part that I needed help with, and I was like, oh, that's nice. I guess that's there.
I kind of took it as Persona 5's thing, where like if you didn't romance any of the girls, Ryuji and Yusuke would go with you for a guy's night out. Wasn't there another guy in the Persona 5 team, or was
Ryuji, Yusuke,
Yusuke, and
Akechi wouldn't have been around at that point.
I mean, there was Morgana.
Yeah, there was Morgana.
That's true. In my head, I always think of Morgana as a chick, though, because she's got a chick's voice and a chick's name.
They even comment on the fact that Morgana is so ambiguous in the game.
Yeah, several points. I think, doesn't Ryuji or someone else call her a chick, call him a chick, and Morgana gets mad?
I think you can call Morgana a chick at one point.
Yeah, and he gets really angry.
Yeah. By the way, with the chick voicing Morgana, my favorite female character is Bart Simpson.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it'd be different if Bart was named like
Barsha.
Barsha. That's the exact kind of stupid name that fucking Homer would come up with.
Barsha Simpson. Anyway.
Okay, Family Guy's a bad show, but I do want to admit one of the funniest gags that series ever had was the reveal that Peter gave Meg the middle name of Megatron.
No, it's not even the middle name. It's the full name. That's her name, Megatron Griffin. That's her name.
That's perfect.
She's not Megan at all.
I love it. All right, what were you gonna say, Addy?
I forget, but yeah, characters. Barrett is there.
Yeah.
So is Tifa. I actually don't interact a lot with them because I like the characters introduced in the later parts of this one better. I never did get Vincent or Yuffie.
Really?
Because for Yuffie you need because for Yuffie I made a mistake and I didn't want to grind her out after that. And I don't even know where the hell Vincent is. So.
All right, so those are two major parts of the game you've entirely missed.
So my team has been compromised or freaking bloody.
My team has been compromised.
Yeah, technically, yes, because my team is made up of Cloud, Red 13, and Kate Sith.
Your team is just animals.
Yes. Yes, and I like the plush kit tank.
Yeah. Which it later turns out it's actually the corporate dude who's helping you, right?
Yeah, so my team is compromised because he's a spy.
Yeah. But isn't he actually a reverse spy? Isn't he helping you against the...
He's both. Because at first he looks like just a normal team member, and then it's revealed that he's a spy, and then he after spending enough time with the team, then he's just like, you know what, I'm gonna sabotage Shinra.
You know what? My side's wrong. I'm joining you guys.
Yeah, basically. So then he started. Then I don't know how much he feeds info about Avalanche to Shinra, but then he starts giving information, internal information from Shinra to Avalanche.
I see.
So there's that. And Red 13 I like because of the big reveal that he has as a character.
Yeah.
Because it is revealed that Red 13, whose real name is Nanaki, he's 48 years old, but because he's a freaking dog mutant or whatever, he's actually like 15. So like he's 48 in human years, but he's 15 in his own species' years. And
Why not make him 13? Like, if you're gonna get that close with his name, never mind. Ignore me.
I just like the.
yeah.
I always like the JRPG trope of having an animal party member.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
The only Western RPG I can think of that had an animal party member was Dragon Age Origins. What was the name of the dog in Dragon Age Origins?
You literally named it.
Oh, dog. Right,
No,
fucking...
you named it. You named it. You could just name it whatever you wanted.
Oh, okay, for a second there I was like, oh right, Alistair named it dog, didn't he?
No. You just name it whatever you want. And, like, the default name is dog, yeah.
I like
Well,
the
like-
idea, dog.
I mean, it's how the samurai usually thought about their horses, by which I mean mostly, because it was they just viewed the horses as like, you know, companions, but they didn't want to attach themselves too much to the horses because the horses died, and so it was just like, all right, I'm gonna take my seat, horse.
Imagine if you got to do that with every party member. Like, you go up and you get Alistair, and you're just like, okay, you are now man. What?
Yeah.
I've been called Alistair all my life. No, you're man now.
But how do we differentiate from each other? We're both men.
That's what you do in
Man.
Pokemon,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you got to name Sten, just rename him to Canary, then he'd probably be cool with that. That is technically correct.
I was considering to, like, after I'm done with Final Fantasy VII, I thought about going through it again, just so I can name all of the party members Cloud. There's some confusion.
It's a Kratos naming system. You are boy.
We don't need to find Cloud's identity if we're all Cloud.
I remember
yeah.
the really old doctor from Scrubs, who at one point comes into the room full of doctors and just goes, "Hello, faces." Anyways,
yeah.
Eddie.
I really wish there were more, like, RPGs that let you have animals as companions.
Yeah, it's neat.
Even, like, talking animals.
Oh, you know what? Skyrim and Fallout both let you get dog party members.
They do.
True. But, like, meh.
Didn't Skyrim have, like, a really wacky one? Like, wasn't there, like, a mud crab or something you could get as a party member?
I think so.
No, I don't think so.
It may be a mod.
I think that's a mod, yeah.
Or was it, like, one of the Dwemer caves you could go into? You could get one of the robots as a party member, the rolling robots.
Well, no, you can
I think
conjure
that-
them from Oblivion, but
Maybe.
I'd have to imagine that's real weird when you're just strolling around in Skyrim City and you're like, oh yeah, this ancient artifact is my buddy.
Technically, Spectrum's Origins is a Western JRPG where you have a bunch of animals.
True.
to go back to the Skyrim thing for like one second, I just find it really funny because I happened upon this information and I saw someone pointing out it's the thing is conjuration magic in Skyrim, it doesn't work as in like you're just summoning things out of the air. You're pulling them from a different dimension.
Ha!
So when you summon the ancient artifact, you're actually just freaking stealing some dwarves or freaking orb and just putting it there.
I really like that. I love the idea of a person just going about their daily business and they get pulled into this fight and they're like, okay, guess cowabunga it is.
But yeah, Final Fantasy VII.
How are the summons?
I'm not the biggest fan.
Really?
Like the summons are fine. I just feel like I just wish they weren't like they simultaneously feel like they're very important and I should use them all the time, but they're also like sometimes they work out that way, and then some other times they're just really underpowered and really long. That being said, I am beating like level 55 characters with level. I think Cloud is level 42, and everyone else is under him. So.
Well, you're getting loads of experience for every monster you kill, then, aren't you?
Nope.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah. So most of my boss encounters are just how can I how can I exploit the system of critical hits so that everyone dies, aside from my guys maybe sometimes them too.
I mean, that's pretty much how you get good at RPGs, is figure out how to exploit the systems. That's how you win at Shin Megami Tensei.
My favorite boss fight so far has been with I think Genova's Heart, or something. It was something like that. Because there's this boss that uses nothing but water magic, and right before the boss in the room, you can just pick up a like ring of water resistance or whatever that just not only nullifies water damage but makes it so it goes into your health.
Ah!
So the boss killed 2 of my party members, and the third one just stood there taking the water damage, and then the boss ran out of MP, so I just revived my teammates and then just killed him.
Ha!
That was funny.
I enjoy how, like, I think that's one thing where Japanese RPGs tend to do better than Western RPGs, is making the elements of attacks actually matter, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Western RPGs, there'll be a thing that's like, oh, increase fire damage by 15%. And I'm like, oh, I never use fire damage anyways. Fuck this. I just sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do that with a couple of magic stuff in this game too, but just because it's like, oh, you can try to manipulate one of the enemy characters to be on your side until you kill them, and it when it works, it works. It doesn't work a lot,
Yeah.
especially not when you're trying to use it on the boss and it's only one character.
Oh.
Although I say that, but somehow I don't know how, but if you tell the manipulated character to hit themselves, they will. So
Kick your own ass. All right.
All right. The other thing I wanted to talk about with that's more with the remake. So with the remake, they're splitting the timelines because the guy from the original team they got to make the game didn't want to make the game again. And I actually see some, like, I feel like they took it in the wrong direction, but they could have tried an interesting new take on the original story. But the thing is, they shouldn't have called it remake.
Yeah.
Maybe reimagined.
Oh,
Freaking Sephiroth.
didn't they give it a real weird name?
No.
Like someone noticed like there was a specific particular detail that was very weird about the name that implied that from the very beginning it was going to be different.
It's just Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Huh, okay. Guess I'm wrong. I could have swore there was something about it.
Nope.
But yeah, so how the remake differs is that there's these new, like, I guess cosmos monsters, I don't know what to call them, called Whispers, that try to keep the timeline together as to how it happened in the original games. And they're a villain because the guy didn't want to remake Final Fantasy VII.
No, he did not. Evidently, fuck.
But yeah, I feel like they jumped the shark with how fast it turns out that it's that, you know, they broke the sequence and the game is going to be different. I feel like that should have been for disc 3.
Yeah.
Like they could have, since they're going to do this in many parts, probably comparing how
I'd rather they
yeah.
pull the trigger on it early than pull the rug out from underneath you at the very end.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like it would have worked better if they would have made it so, like, I feel like it would have worked over 2 games better if at first like it's just a normal it just looks like a normal remake, and then more things stop making sense and more things start looking weird and shit. Because the
Yeah,
thing is, they actually
maybe if they just like hinted at it throughout the series, like strongly hinting at it and like building it up throughout the series, and then like maybe towards the end of the second game, I think would be best. Is they do like a big reveal of something that you probably already figured out by that point.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say as well.
Yeah.
Because with how they did it, it's just like the thing is the worst part is they actually tied this whole changing the timeline thing into the original game's story really good. Because in the original story, Cloud has freaking migraines or whatever because he's having personality issues, and timeline changes or like the whispers fixing the timeline also shows up through that.
Huh, all right.
So they could have actually like built it up better and made it so it makes more sense overall. But it's just, oh well, the shit changes, or like that doesn't change, but we get to see that it would have probably changed if the whispers didn't come in. And then, oh, my favorite characters are written out of the story. And then, oh, Zek shows up, he's not dead.
What? What?
Yeah, the Final Fantasy VII remake story features Zek not dead.
Doesn't that screw up Cloud's entire character arc?
Yes.
Huh?
But the thing is, the Final Fantasy, like, I don't know how I should call it up for y'all, because there's this whole big part where you're in Midgar and then you escape and then you actually get to start playing the game. The remake is only on like I think the remake ends when you escape, or at least all the information I found on it seems to imply that that's when it ends. And if it ends when you escape, then showing that Zack lives is so freaking early, because Zack doesn't come up until like the middle of disc 2 in the original at all.
Huh.
Hell, the scene that they're showing, or that they're apparently showing at the end of the first part of the remake, is on disc 3. So,
All right.
or at least it is. So, like, if they made it a slower burn, if they actually built up to the reveal that, oh no, something's going bad and Cloud has to fix it and it's not the normal timeline, it could have worked in my opinion. I mean, it wouldn't have been an actual remake, so they probably shouldn't have called it that at all. But like it would have been a different take on the normal story, and I think it would have worked better. Like it basically would have been a better version of what was it? Kingdom Hearts something or other memories, rechained memories, something
Chain of
like that.
Memories.
That's the one.
Chain of Memories Rechained was the console release.
Ah, yeah. So I feel like they could have done that same thing with Final Fantasy VII with this, if they actually talked about how you should put it into the story. Yeah. Because Chain of Memories had an okay idea, and then it was just Sora jumping around killing glitches.
Heh. All right.
And
Anything else to say?
I don't think so. I prefer Edmund Children's design for Cloud.
Really?
I like capes, yes.
I mean, I actually kind of prefer Advent Children Cloud design too, even though it's super edgy.
I mean, I haven't actually looked at it in a while, so I'll look it up so I can actually give an actual critique. But
I mean, you could also post it in the text.
The original Cloud design to me, like the thing that bugs me is the shoulder pad that's bolted on looks really stupid. Okay, Pink would actually know this one. So Pink, you know how Cloud's one of the only characters in Smash Brothers who has 2 different attires he can choose from?
Yeah.
So the one with the stupid bolted on shoulder is his default vanilla one from the original game, and his second attire where he's wearing the one sleeve on, one sleeve off kind of trench coat is his design from the movie. Which do you think is better?
I like the bolt-on
I'm
shoulder
posting
pad.
pictures.
Okay, yeah, that's actually the picture from Smash Brothers, I think.
Possibly.
I think the bolt-on shoulder looks silly. I think
I feel yeah.
Is the first one the one you're saying looks better?
Yeah, I feel like it looks more whole.
I think that looks horrible.
It looks better than the
It
one on
actually
the
looks
bottom.
horrid.
I mean, the bottom one, like, if you remove the shoulder, it otherwise does actually look like a soldier's outfit instead of...
Yeah, it's the shoulder that ruins it. And like, it just
For me,
to
it's the opposite. I think the shoulder
Yeah.
gives him character.
I
Because
agree.
if you take away the shoulder pad, it's very incredibly generic to me. But with the shoulder
Yeah.
pad, it gives him an extra layer that other things might not have.
It gives him a little bit of asymmetry, and that's kind of
Yeah.
important in character design. Whereas, like, the first one has, like, way too much asymmetry.
The
It
first one
looks-
just looks uncomfortable to me.
Yeah, it just looks. Yeah, no.
Well, I think the shoulder pad should be... I think... Well, I like the outfit generally. I'm a bit of a sucker for the trench coat part. I think the outfit of the original game, like, outside of the shoulder pad, I prefer, but I think that the shoulder pad on the movie design that's a little smaller and a little less overbearing is better.
Yeah, I like the shoulder pad on the first one better, but, like, the entire outfit looks horrible.
I like that it's plain, simple
I mean,
black leather with a little lion emblem on it. Which, why does Cloud have a lion emblem button? He's not associated with
clue.
lions, is he?
I guess bravery. I don't freaking know. Oh, but I get it. I know. Cloud's first limit break is called Braver. That's
Oh,
why.
that makes sense.
But yeah, to me the
I just had a stupid idea. I was trying
Yeah?
to think of what animal I would associate Cloud with more, and I was like, oh, what animal could be associated with amnesia? A goldfish.
But yeah, to me the shoulder pad just makes the actual game's design look like empty, or like not finished. Without the shoulder pad, it would look fine to me.
Well, I mean,
I disagree with that assessment.
We got to keep one thing in mind here. The original Cloud model and design was made for the PS1, so having a big shoulder pad like that was what really differentiated his character from the others, because it was potato graphics.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. Well, are we talking about the other team members or the other soldiers?
Yes and yes. Well, I mean, you
'Cause
don't need much to
not-
differentiate from Barrett, because Barrett's massive and Tifa's got gigantic boobs.
Because none of the other soldiers wear this shit. I mean, they do, but only in battle where you can tell them apart from Cloud. And I think they have the freaking shoulder pads. But none of the other, you never actually meet the soldier class of an enemy on the freaking the minimap where you would need low poly models.
Biggs and Wedge, right? Those are the other soldiers?
Oh no, those are members of Avalanche.
Oh, okay. Which...
Yeah, the actual Shira soldiers usually wear like police uniforms. Is the best way I can describe them. Like slightly futuristic policeman uniforms with large helmets and shit.
Okay,
So you can tell them apart from you can tell them apart from Cloud with that. And then once again, I don't think I actually saw members of the soldier class, which that Cloud is wearing the soldier uniform. Because soldier is a separate thing from the actual soldiers. It's confusing, but all capital soldier characters also wear this same costume, so that doesn't set Cloud apart. And I don't think they even appear on the overworld, only in battles, where we can have slightly more police. And then the other freaking like army people that you have are like the generals, who obviously have their own designs, and then the Secret Service people is the best way I can describe them, and they wear trench coats, which is not what Cloud wears in the game. So so Cloud would be different enough from everyone else without the shoulder pad still. In fact, he probably would be more different because he doesn't have the shoulder pad everyone else does.
Okay, I've got one last question. So how bad of a stupid big anime penis sword was the Buster Sword in the original game on PS1?
Pretty.
Yeah, I guess they
I
would have
mean-
had to make it bigger because PS1 potato graphics.
But yeah, so I did actually think about this with the whole team setup I have. It's like just imagine the idea of this. Like you have there's this freaking dog mutant running at you, as well as this like cat plushie on a I think mech. Or they didn't really define whether the thing the cat plushie is riding is a mech or that's also like something plushy.
Heh.
And then also this guy who just looks like a normal dude, but his sword is the size of the guy, like legitimately as tall and wide as him.
Are you telling me they actually shrunk the sword going into everything else with Cloud going forward?
Yes, the cloud in the lower picture from what I remember has freaking a more proportionate sword. It looks more realistic.
The sword's still unrealistically large, but it's definitely not as goofy as some Cloud designs I've seen.
Yeah, as I said, more realistic, not realistic.
Yeah, the upper Cloud there with that big hunk of metal is a little silly.
Yeah, that's closer to the actual in-game design of Cloud. That size of sword.
It
I don't
reminds,
think it's that. I don't think it's that big. I actually think that it's it's one of his smaller swords.
I mean,
just
it's
based on the-
it's not long, but it is very wide and thick, you know? And I'm suddenly reminded of a bit of fan art I once saw of Cloud and Sephiroth both holding their swords in, like, the Spaceballs way where it's coming out of their crotch, it looks like. And Cloud just shouts width, and Sephiroth shouts length!
Speed and weight.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find a freaking picture of the in-game Cloud or anything that resembles it closely enough.
You know, it's funny that Cloud's sword got a little less ridiculous later, because Sephiroth's got way worse.
Yes.
Sephiroth's sword gets longer with every adaptation. It's hilarious.
Let me see if that work? I don't know.
Nope.
Can you like click on the link and see the picture?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Cloud's sword is massive.
Oh no,
Huge.
guys, that's the more realistic, better poly version. I'm trying to look for the overworld sprite, which is more closely like this.
I love the screenshot Soon got. They're going up against a corporate guy with a much more realistic sword. Oh, Jesus, that sword is actually as big as Cloud is.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
telling it. It's as tall and as wide as he is.
Oh, man. PS1
So that's
graphics, huh?
yeah. So that's how ridiculous the Buster Sword used to be. The new Buster Sword designs comparatively look tame.
Yeah. I'm reminded of the manga Berserk, which I read a while ago. And that one was pretty much the one that innovated the idea of the hero having the big, stupid anime penis sword, right?
Yeah.
But they just outright at one point say, it's not really a sword, he's pretty much just swinging around a big fucking hunk of iron. Like, you shouldn't be calling it a sword at that point. You're just fucking clubbing people, really.
Yeah.
Alright. Anything else?
Well, Rocky did release a new freaking what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever, a new
A new bizarre adventure?
yes, a new bizarre adventure, a new chapter. That's the one.
Okay.
Freaking, it took me a lot. It took me a while to get there, but yeah, it released a new chapter, I believe, or rather a new volume actually. As I don't, whatever. Who gives a shit?
Heh.
New JoJo part. Nothing happened. So
Heh.
the guy, the protagonist is still sitting in a chair. The stand is still talking menacingly at him. It was revealed that freaking that rock people they start out as like really small babies, and then it was revealed that rock women can mate with normal men,
Oh.
and the rock babies they are parasites. They latch on to large wasps Like the big Asian wasps that migrated there recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rock babies latch onto those wasps, and then they get carried back to the HQ, and they take over controlling the queen. And then once they hit 17, their body just immediately grows to a normal 17-year-old's body size.
Okay.
Before that, they were still baby size, but after that, they just burst out of the wasp nest.
Okay, so this whole like chapter was just a lore dump.
Basically, that and Araki showing that he didn't forget characters, because he showed off a character from part 6. He showed off Enyaba. He showed off Dio, or probably either Dio or Cars, or one of the people who put on the stone mask. Stuff like that. Like it actually had like nice to know relevance, I guess. Like they didn't get brought up.
Isn't everybody
Yeah?
from part 6 fucking dead by now?
Well, yes and no. I don't remember when this is set.
Or well, I guess
don't
they're
remember-
not it's not that they're dead by now, it's that they haven't been born yet.
Well, yeah, maybe. Well, it's not that they haven't been born yet; it's that they won't be born because different timeline. Also, according to Araki, or at least according to people who cited him, Joseph survived part 6, possibly. So either that by that he might have meant that he still lives in what would be the next part's timeline, if that universe still existed, or he just means that Joseph was too powerful and he jumped universes.
What, like when DC reset for New 52 and the old Superman was just like, nah.
Yeah, basically, Joseph was just too powerful. He died twice by now, and he didn't stay dead. So he was like, whatever, the universes change, I won't.
I kind of like that character is just fucking there in every part.
He's not there. He's not there. He's just all like. I don't think he's shown up in the past like 3 or 4 parts, but it's always confirmed. Yes, Joseph is alive. Because like he last appeared in part 4, and then in part 5 it was confirmed he's alive, and then in part 6, apparently Araki said that he lived through part 6. So
he's got to be ancient by now, by then, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely ancient. The dude was alive in when freaking Nazis were.
So does having a stand just like give you virtual immortality?
No, it's Hamon.
Oh, Hamon. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the thing with Joseph is like it's argued whether he continued pursuing Hamon, because he did get a lot older, and his mom and State so didn't when they kept practicing Hamon. So Joseph might have stopped practicing Hamon, and then was just like, you know what, maybe I'll use this, and then started it back up or something.
Ha. Okay. I see.
But yeah, the Hamon really slows down aging, but it doesn't keep you from dying, which is why it's weird that he's still alive, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead.
Like Jotaro has a lot of plot armor whenever he appears. He usually has a lot of plot armor. Joseph is the plot armor. He's just made of it at this point. Like, I'm not complaining because he's my favorite JoJo, but still, it's pretty funny. Like, okay, what year is it? All right, 2026. Joseph is still alive. Dude was 20 in like freaking 1920, but he's still alive.
He's like 140. Or no, 120, the math. Well, hang on, though. The time got reset, though, at the end of part 6, right? They went back 150 years? Or thereabouts?
Oh, thereabouts, yeah.
So we can throw another, like, 20 years on there. So yeah, he's 140.
Well, yes, but technically with how Pucci did the time reset, people would have died, and then they would know that they would die, but they would be the same age as they were when he started the time reset. So,
Yeah,
so,
I need to shut up.
so without they freaking change the timeline, Joseph might be freaking, I don't know, like only 80 again.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, I found this out recently. I didn't look too much into it, so it might be wrong. But apparently, Sports 7 was like Part 7 started around 2004, thereabouts, and then ended around 2010, 11, and then Part 8 has been going since then.
Oh.
And like, Araki's trying to freaking keep making it. Like he's releasing one volume every month because he's getting a bit old.
He's not showing it.
Yeah, he doesn't look it, but I've got to assume that it's gonna be freaking like texting on the body to draw for like freaking 15 hours a day every day for like 40 years of your life.
I mean, if he's gonna be getting up there, he should wrap it up with part 8 so they get a satisfying conclusion. Unless he has like someone he's training to take over, you know.
Araki doesn't need to wrap things up because he's actually a vampire. Dio's story is his own.
Ah, right, I forgot.
He won.
Yeah, he went to South America. He got the Aztec. Well, yeah, South America to get an Aztec mask. Good work, brain. No, he went to Mexico to get the Aztec vampire mask.
No, not even that. Back in freaking like 1802, he got adopted into a rich family, and then things just wrapped out from there.
That's why he wrote all of it, was to cover up the trail. Like Dio dying in part 3 was to hide the fact that he'd actually killed Jotaro.
Yes.
The real Jotaro lost.
Another fun tidbit that like he sometimes does like small interviews and shit like that where he reveals stuff about himself. Sometimes he just writes shit in the opening bits of JoJo, and it's like Johnny has a bug bite fetish. Araki then later revealed, or at least allegedly revealed, that's not fiction. That's him. Yeah. So the thing he said about it is that, like, you know how when a mosquito bites you and it gets swollen up, then you just you make like a cross shape with your fingernails in it. I found that to be really fun and arousing.
Every day's a school day.
The slightly less disturbing thing is that apparently he's never actually used or like never buys expensive like art materials because there's a corner shop next to his office where he just buys the shittiest thing he can find, like the cheapest markers he can get because they will get used up anyway. I appreciate that.
Ha! His art does look like it'd be drawn with marker.
I mean, most professional art is drawn with marker. It's just such high-grade marker that you don't notice.
Yeah. Alright, anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Alright. So I've done a good couple things this week because we all started on our top 100, top 50 lists, or, well, several of us did. And I was like, oh man, there's so many good games. I should go back and play these good games. And there's so many games I didn't finish, but I really liked, and I don't think I can really put them on my top favorites list because I haven't finished them. And I was like, I need to play some older games. So I got the Xbox 360 working again. Found out, my Assassin's Creed Brotherhood copy has gone missing entirely. So instead I played a bunch of shit games. And I'm going to not talk about any of them because they were shit games that I downloaded off of Xbox Live when I was like, I don't know, 13, 12, 11, something, thereabouts, you know. So of course,
did you have the one with the Titty Vampire Killer game? Whatever. I saw a lot of videos of that.
No, but there were 3 Minecraft ripoffs.
Ah.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, what is
There's-
Soon doing over there?
I think he was trying to talk and maybe we couldn't hear him.
Yeah, I think Pink's Discord is messing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard him for a second there. What did you... Pink, say something, Pink.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, we can.
Perfect.
All right, wonderful.
Right.
I tried screaming into the mic earlier when Addy mentioned vampire titties, but it was
Wait.
no use.
Addy, when you said vampire titties, were you referring to Blood Rain?
No, because
I don't
Blood Rain's
think-
not the worst. It's just bad.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up. I don't think so though, because it was like this.
That's the only vampire titty game I know.
Well, there's
There
hang on.
was-
There's actually a 2D Blood Rain that's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I heard about that actually.
It's the 2 3D ones on PS2 that were supposed to be the bad ones.
Yeah, I think I saw the 2D one on PS Now.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. I remember this like this I guess gothic like whatchamacallit indie games that on Xbox Live that was this 2D like run and gun one. Like I don't know if I call it a run and gun, but I guess that's the closest thing it was. So yeah, it was like this 2D run and gun about this vampire huntress who might also be a vampire because Blade, and she was basically wearing nothing but a bikini, and the gameplay barely existed, if at all.
Okay, was it an Xbox Live game or was it just an indie game off the indie market?
It was an Xbox Live Arcade game, which means that it was an indie game of the indie market.
Okay, because the
Something like that.
Xbox indie game selection was notoriously one of the worst places you can go to for video games ever.
I remember the game of the game where you have to freaking shit on people as a monkey.
I always remember the what was it, baby birth simulator, and you have to try and shoot the baby as far as possible through the hospital.
Oh yeah.
That one actually was pretty. That one was a pretty decent idea actually. But arcade had some real stinkers. Certainly, that was where we started to see the transition of the B game market to digital games only.
Yeah. That's when we stopped seeing freaking gingerbread man or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, the only one I would really consider much of a highlight out of the arcade games I had on the Xbox was a game which I don't know if you guys would have heard of it, Section 8 Prejudice.
I think I've heard of it, but I'm not sure.
It's a first-person shooter that's kind of known for being very underrated because it was the sequel to a very underwhelming game called just Section 8. And it improved on a lot of it. It had some really neat ideas, and as a matter of fact, it was ahead of its time in one category because you spawn onto the field by jumping in from the sky and you parachute in. Well, you fly in, and where you land is where you land, effectively. Which was about like 6 or 7 or 8 years before Fortnite and Apex did it. Which was very ahead of its time. But the actual gameplay itself was nothing like Fortnite or Apex. It was closer to... Did any of you guys ever see like Wolfenstein Enemy Territory or Quake Wars Enemy Territory?
Nope.
Well, they were...
I don't think so. Yeah? Go ahead.
They were team-based first-person shooters where you could pick from a variety of roles who would do things like, oh, this one's good at stealth, this one can build turrets, this one's got a machine gun, and so on. There was vehicles that would spawn on the map, there were control points you could capture, you could build buildings and try to hold points. And it was a little bit where shooters were trying to focus more on, like, having strategy elements rather than just shoot, gun, bang, you know?
Yeah.
And the whole thing, like, didn't work out because it wound up only getting a niche audience, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm kind of sad that no modern game really comes anywhere close to that. The closest you can get is Overwatch having Torbjorn on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when Overwatch was good?
No,
Before
that never
Cricket.
happened.
Those first
It was very good for a time.
the
They
beta and
made
the
their
first
Overwatch League.
the beta and the first 6 months after launch, those were really good. And then after that, it just kind of after that it became Brigitte's territory.
Yeah, I heard that like Brigitte is like what killed that game.
I vehemently disagree. I think Brigitte was a problem, but the main issue was all their balancing changes were changed with their Overwatch League in mind.
Right.
Brigitte could have been completely fine, but because they were trying to take their game down a competitive road, when the first 6 months since launch, Overwatch had been basically the fun first-person shooter. Over time, they were taking, to me, it felt like they were taking all the fun out of it.
Right.
They established too hard of a meta.
Yeah.
That happens.
And they established a meta, and then they were too scared to change it. They were too scared to initiate any kind of changes that might drastically change how the game was played.
Yeah.
Which is why the meta since Brigitte has been online hasn't changed as drastically as it would in those first initial months or year for that matter.
Yeah, Brigitte did not ruin the game alone, but she came around the time that all the changes were made.
She came around the time that they were already beginning to ruin it.
Yes.
Right.
She's not the cause, she's just a symptom.
I heard that a big thing was like the increased implementation of hard C or CC in general. Crowd control.
For my own personal experience, like it came to be too much where like the hard meta was every team needs to take a Reinhardt. Guaranteed. You need to have Reinhardt.
That was the thing I remember.
Which I don't think I've not played very much Overwatch in the last 3 or 4 years. I can't remember having played against a Roadhog at any point in the last 3 years. Like, Reinhardt is a guaranteed take, and also they nerfed the healers way too much. So Mercy and Lucio became way less important to running a good team.
I liked Roadhog when I played him originally, but then I went back and tried to play him, and I didn't like him as much. He felt really, really weak.
Pink, didn't they nerf the shit out of Roadhog after the initial beta?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. They've, I want to say about... Maybe if he was lucky, he lasted about a year on top, and then they consistently nerfed him to the ground. He was probably the tank equivalent to Lucio, where every patch note is like, "Yeah, we're changing this about Roadhog. You know, you can't hook and shoot and get an instant kill anymore. You gotta basically hook somebody when they're already dead, and then there's your free kill."
Yeah.
They would nerf his self-sustain, they nerfed his hook, they nerfed his damage output.
Didn't they buff him at least in the sense of mobility? Because originally, when you were healing, you had to like stop and heal, but then they changed it.
Now you can move around while healing. That's the only buff you ever got, to my knowledge.
Rip.
Yep.
As for my experience with freaking Overwatch, I started maining Junkrat because I liked Junkrat as a character, and then nobody ever went healer, so I started maining Zenyatta, and then Zenyatta died.
Yeah, Zenyatta, again, another character. Like, didn't they nerf Zenyatta a ton, too?
Yes, for reasons unknown to me, because he's always consistently been one of the weakest characters in the entire game.
Like, the thing is, Pink, didn't they nerf both his healing and his damage output, so he's basically worthless now.
Yes.
I remember
quality balancing.
I was the other. It was either a couple weeks ago or an entire month. I looked at basically what is the quote unquote meta now. What are the top picks? What are the bottom tier? And if you look at the top and bottom tier list now and compare it to the one when it launched, Zenyatta is at the bottom of the tier list still. It's been 4 years, and there was a brief period where Zenyatta was not at the bottom of the tier list, but if you take the tier list from day one of launch and compare it to the tier list of right now, summer 2020, Zenyatta at the bottom of the list. And everything is kind of... Some things have shuffled around, but a lot of the meta, quote unquote, is still very much the same.
I remember it way back in the beta. Zenyatta could at least get a shit ton of kills if he placed his shots well and got lots of headshots. So I felt at the time that contrasted him very well with Lucio and Mercy, because Lucio and Mercy were much more healing focused, but Zenyatta got to be more offensive.
Mhm.
And Lucio's whole thing was, oh, he'd heal the entire team, or Mercy would pick one and just heal them a shit ton, and now they just all do nothing.
Yep.
God, that's so fucking lame. Oh, anyways, in less depressing note, I got to. Oh, you know, I've watched 2 movies and played 2 games. Also, I'll get I'll get 1 game and 1 movie out of the way first because I don't think you guys are gonna really care that much about them. I put time into Shadow of Mordor. I enjoy that game. I played through the DLCs for that game for the first time. They make some fun.
Where there are more doors.
They do add more doors. Add more doors to Mordor so you can have double door Mordor.
Oh,
Yeah, Junji Ito, there are more doors.
Oh no! There are more
I'll see
Uruks
if
in
I
the
can
doors.
find that. I'll see if I can find that. Probably not.
Yeah, how is the DLCs? How are the DLCs?
So there's one DLC that's Master of the Hunt, and it just adds a bunch of new animals that you can ride. There's a
Right.
so that you remember the lions that you can ride around, right?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't blame you, but they added a stealth lion. And the stealth lion can sneak around despite being massive. It's really fun to play, though. And they also added a version of the giant monster, the Graug.
The Graug.
Yes, like an even bigger version of the troll, right?
Yeah.
They added a version that can projectile vomit and kills just about everything instantly. It's really less of a projectile vomit, more of a flamethrower, honestly. And you can aim it. So you could have an Uruk who is above your head and you just puke upwards, dead. Guaranteed. And with that game, you start to figure out what are the tools that no Uruk captain will ever be really invulnerable to, right? Because when you get into the higher levels in that game, the Uruk captains start getting no weaknesses and they start picking up really, really strong perks.
Oh, yeah.
You have to figure out what are the most OP things that will kill any captain. Boy, they do. None of them like getting puked on. None of them. I mean, admittedly, I wouldn't either, but like, they just do not take it well at all. Other than that, the Beastmaster DLC doesn't add a whole lot, but still, the 2 things it does add are like simple little enjoyments. The other one.
Has Shadow of Mordor aged well at all?
There are parts of that game that are still really screwy. It doesn't control very well. It's like, it's still kind of like discount Assassin's Creed parkour, you know?
Right. Very, very bad parkour.
Yes, there are a lot of times where your guy, Talion, who I repeatedly call Tyrion because I can't, Talion is the worst name, I swear. Your dude, Talion, keeps getting confused, like, oh, I don't know the geometry of this building you want me to walk up, and he'll just start jumping up and down without actually grabbing onto the building.
Yeah, I remember that.
Or sometimes he'll get confused by a bin full of spears, and he'll just stand in place and won't move no matter what direction you tell him to move in. And just sits there for about, like, a good 5 seconds before he's like, oh, jump.
I have no idea why I decided to platinum that game.
I did too. That one's a pain in the ass, though, because it's got some stupid achievements.
Yep.
There is one that is honest to God. Find an orc that is dual-wielding, light him on fire, and then do a combo rush on him while he's on fire.
Yeah, isn't there one where, like, you have to do some timed bullshit?
Save 15 slaves in under a minute.
Yeah, that was my last trophy. That fucking sucked.
Well, the one that sucks about that is the fact that slaves are random spawns and not guaranteed.
Yep.
So, get fucked. Oh, and you have to do it on the back of one of the lions, and those are also random spawns.
Yep.
I started playing Shadow of War, which again, I never finished Shadow of War. I came back, and it's so, like, weird. Shadow of War improves on Shadow of Mordor in every way. Every way. They even got rid of the microtransactions after all this time. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And it just doesn't grab me. I can't explain why. I mean, one of the things that does bug me is that they wanted to make, like, in Shadow of Mordor, you get stupidly overpowered by the end game. Like, stupidly overpowered. Nothing can threaten you. Like, Soon, you played the game, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and with Shadow of War, they said, okay, it was really fun being overpowered, but maybe we should make there be an actual challenge to this game. So one of the things they made it where is, like, there are a lot of perks that you have to choose between, and they deny each other. That in Shadow of Mordor, you could just grab both, and I find that a real annoyance. But, I mean, the difficulty is also fun in parts. Because there are a lot of times in Shadow of Mordor where you kill an Uruk captain, and he looks really cool, but you kill him really easy. And you're like, boy, I hope he comes back from the dead so I can fight him again, because that one was kind of weak. Conversely, Shadow of War, you kill an Uruk, and you are, like, down to just nothing, no health, no ammo, anything. And you're like, you'll fucking stay dead if you know what's good for you, and then you get killed by a random Uruk. Ah. Alright. And I did not get to play. I have not. The game just doesn't grab me. I can't explain why. I uninstalled it after 2 days because I was just like, eh. The DLCs look interesting, by all means. The one where you get to play as a Haradrim, that's cool. You know, the Haradrim don't get much in Lord of the Rings. Tolkien never got to finish the book you wanted to do for him. But, the other thing I did this week that I don't think you guys are going to really care about is I watched Night of the Living Dead. The original 1968 George Romero zombie flick that started the zombies, as we know them now. It set up all the tropes of them being risen corpses, they infect you with bites, they try to eat people, all that stuff. Where before that, zombies were kind of just voodoo mind slaves.
Yeah, they try to eat bikes.
Yeah. I mean, the tires, you could probably eat the tires with enough work, I don't know.
You could eat the whole thing with enough work. It would just take a lot of work.
It would take a lot of work, you're right. The zombie would need, like, a power saw. So, Night of the Living Dead, I knew was a bit risque for its time. And I was surprised by the fact it's pretty risque for our time nowadays.
It shows a woman's legs. But it shows her ankles.
Oh no. So one of the zombies is just a completely 100% naked chick. Like, wholly naked. You see all of her at several points. There are two characters who, spoilers for a movie that's
60, almost 60 years old?
Almost 60 years old. But
that's an old movie.
Yeah, very old movie. Spoilers for a 60-year-old movie, but there are two characters who get killed and eaten by their own zombified daughter. And there's just straight up blood and gore at several parts. Like, we get a very, very direct shot of a woman who's had her entire face eaten off. So, this movie came out in 1968. It was a little bit of a shock to some people. Apparently, horror films are often divided into pre-Night of the Living Dead and post-Night of the Living Dead. Because up until Night of the Living Dead, horror films were seen as kids' films.
Nice.
Now, here's...
sometimes people try to bring it back. There were the whole horror story, or not horror stories, bringing ghost stories series.
And now we've gotten to the point where films are made for like 13-year-olds and younger because they're too stupid for anybody.
Soon, we can't hear half of what you're saying.
I said, now we've come back full circle where horror movies are made for 13-year-olds because they're too stupid for anyone else to watch.
Well, nowadays in horror movies, there's no actual monster. It's just the tables floating. Ooh.
Yep.
The tables floating. Ooh.
Tables float, and then suddenly they drop, and there's an old person looking creepy.
Yeah. The pizza.
Not even looking creepy. It's just an old person.
Oh yeah, it's just a peaceful old lady.
Yeah, she's sitting in a chair.
And then you're like, oh wait, it's just a woman.
And the pizza is aggressive.
Yeah. No, the pizza being aggressive is too scary.
Oh man. Did anyone?
Yeah.
No, you know what? I was actually about to go off really off topic.
Oh shit, I forgot about another movie that I watched.
Oh, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, since we're on the topic of gore and shit, I watched The Platform.
Never heard of it.
That movie is Communism the movie.
Okay.
That sounds exciting.
Do you mean pro-communism or anti-communism?
Pro-communism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the plot is that there's like, it's a prison, I guess, kind of. Yeah, and there's 300-ish floors. Yeah, and there's two prisoners on each floor for the 300 floors, and it's in a tower shape, and there's a platform that comes down to each floor in the center of the room, and it contains like food, right?
Yeah.
And so like it goes down. As it goes down, people eat the food, and you know, like you eat the food, then it goes down to the next floor. They have what's left over from what you ate, and everybody above you. So that's the plot of the movie, I guess. And yeah, it's just very, very gory. And the movie ends. I'm just gonna spoil it because you guys shouldn't watch this movie. It's dumb. But yeah, at the end, the main character and some random guy that he met, that he floored with, the third floor mate that he had. Uh, yeah, they just go down, and they're trying to like conserve the food that they have and give it to everybody so that it's like equal and everybody gets their fair share. And they have to kill like a bunch of rich people. Yeah. And so they just go down until they reach the bottom, and at the very bottom of the tower there's this kid. And so the entire time they're going down, they're conserving this like this delicacy as a message to send to like the people who are managing the prison, that hey, we managed to like conserve this food and get it to everybody, and now there's something left over. Like we managed to succeed in having a like well functioning society here in the the platform thing. And they see their little girl, and then they decided that's the message that they need to send, so they toss her on the elevator. And yeah, that's the movie. And it just contains tons of gore. Like the main character's first floor mate just like starts chopping his body up into pieces, so that because they got on a really low floor. And so yeah,
It was his last resort.
yeah, because like they weren't going to get food for a whole month. And so like each month, like you go to a different floor. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, each month you go to a different floor, and this time they ended up on a very, very low floor. And so they weren't going to get any food. So his floor mate starts like chopping him up into pieces like while he's alive, and feeding him his own, skin. And so yeah, that's just the kind of stuff that you get in this movie.
Sounds
Yeah.
exciting.
It's very, very gory. It's very, very communist, as I think I explained.
I believe the term is ham-fisted.
Ham-fisted politics, yes.
No subtlety.
Nope. No subtlety.
It's the difference between a political movie that asks questions versus a political movie that tries to give you answers.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's just, it's a very gore-fest movie. I think the only reason anybody should watch it is because it's just, if like you want a gore-fest movie, then this is a good gore-fest movie.
Yeah.
There's not really much else to it, because like people say that it's really thought-provoking, but I don't think so. I think it's just a blatant communist propaganda flick.
I mean, people are going to say something's thought-provoking if they agree with it, no matter what.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
That's just like, people want to peddle their own beliefs constantly, so they will throw whatever compliments they have at their own beliefs if they get the opportunity.
Yep.
Everybody's selling something.
Yeah. But anyway, back to you, Dubs.
sorry, I'm gonna cut in because I found the thing I was looking for. This
Doors.
kind of applies. Yeah, I found doors. This kind of does apply to here as well because it is horror. I hope it posts. There it is.
Would you believe that doors are also kind of a plot element in Night of the Living Dead?
So then remember right to left. But yeah.
Alright, so yeah, Night of the Living Dead. It's also a movie that was considered very innovative for its time. It came out in '68, and it has a Jesus Christ, soon. Are you driving a car?
He's become the wind.
I'm sorry. It's just really hot in my apartment, so I have blowing.
Okay.
Yeah.
The wind is his father at his back.
Yeah, you and Muda have been talking about the heat wave that's hit where you live.
Yeah, it hasn't dropped below 80 degrees in like been average 90. No air conditioning.
Well, the nice thing about living in the South is that when heat waves hit, we're actually already set up for it. Because it's been 95 for most of the past month over here, but our AC is a lot better, so we don't deal with it.
Oh yeah, here in Boston, we just don't have ACs in a lot of apartments.
Suckers.
How do you not have copies of all of the Assassin's Creeds in your apartment?
I don't have all the copies of Assassin's Creed in my apartment. What happened to my fucking copy of Brotherhood?
Patty, do you even have
Because-
every copy of Assassin's Creed?
Of course he does.
Yeah, not every copy, but I have a copy of every Assassin's Creed. Yes.
Including like Odyssey?
Yes.
Why? Stop buying them.
I bought Odyssey because it was $10, and I think at the time I bought it, they didn't release the remake of 3 and Liberation as a separate bundle. So and I wasn't sure they didn't announce if they were going to do it or not. So I just bought it because of that for $10. I am not buying Valhalla though. I'll look at the video of it to check how it will be. But
It's just gonna be Odyssey.
yeah, I'm just saying since the freaking the new producer was like, well, we'll try to explain shit in lore. I'll look at the explanations of lore and then just decide if I agree or not.
I thought for a second you were about to call the developer our new Witcher overlords.
No, that's CD Projekt Red. CD Projekt Red is not taking Assassin's Creed yet.
They kind of have, though.
I mean, yeah, they made the new formula, but they're not directly involved in it.
It's the problem with liking a franchise that's from Ubisoft, is that Ubisoft is kind of like shit. There's all kinds of things to bitch about with EA, like them killing development teams over practically fucking nothing. But EA at least lets development teams have some freedom with the games they want to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ubisoft, though, the order comes down the pipe. Witcher's hot, make Witcher.
To be fair, they did just recently fire the guy who was making all of those.
Well, he wasn't the only one, but he was a pivotal point. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the top guy who was making these decisions, and like nothing went through Ubisoft without his approval. You know.
He was the creative director or whatever of everything, and he was like, stories don't sell, women don't sell. Take both of them out. We don't need those.
Yeah.
Remove women. All right.
No,
like,
really.
just imagine, put that on a checkboard. Like every game development team, like the Far Cry team, the AC team, remove women.
I mean, do you remember like Assassin's Creed Unity?
Well, I remember. I know the recent news story that came out that they forced them to add Alexios to Odyssey.
Yeah. So what was supposed to happen, at least with Origins and Odyssey, is that Origins was supposed to be a thing where you first play as Bayek and then Bayek dies and it becomes Aya's game, and then Odyssey was supposed to be all Cassandra, and those didn't work out because of this dude. I don't know about Unity. People are just bringing up Unity as if fleshing out Elisa's character would have made the story better, which it didn't have.
The reason I'm bringing up Unity is because the people making the game were like, oh yeah, it's just too much work to program a female character.
Oh yeah. they did say that, yes.
Yeah.
And also, apparently, the guy they recently fired might have also been the guy who pushed for every Ubisoft game having the Borgia Towers.
Oh,
Yep. That guy was horrible, by the way. I don't know if you've seen the stories of like what he was doing.
I haven't, but I don't need to. I saw what he did to the video games. I don't need to see what he did to the women. I know it would be worse.
Apparently he like growled at women all the time. Like he thought a good way to hit on women was to growl at them.
oh
And
boy!
at one point,
He learned how to play through freaking Leisure Suit Larry.
but yeah, at one point he like goes into an elevator and pins a woman to a wall while he's growling at her the whole time, and he starts feeling her up.
Oh boy!
Like, yeah, and he's growling the whole time.
Yeah,
Disturbed.
yeah. Sounds like a all right dude. All right, yeah, great. Oh no!
This was also last Saturday.
Oh no!
No, it wasn't. I'm making a joke, but I don't think they said how recent this incident was.
But yeah, this guy was horrible. And not only that, but like the CEO of Ubisoft who's trying to like pretend that he like cares about women and stuff. He knew about all of this. He knew all about all of this. He's like, there's reports that suggest that like he knew about all of this and he allowed it because it was better for his profits.
Okay, hang on.
I mean, yeah.
So wait, you're telling me that when you're working at Ubisoft, you'd be like, all right, new orders come down from our super rapey boss. He wants our games to have less women and more phallic objects. More phallic buildings, please.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy!
The game needs a lot more hedonistic, unsolicited sex. Let's just set it into ancient Greece.
Oh no!
Yeah, I mean, this guy was actually horrible, but they kept him around despite knowing that he was rapey. Like everybody knew, but like they kept him around because he like doubled Ubisoft's profits.
Yeah, the more I learn about Yves Guillemot, the more I like the thing with Ubisoft is that it's really kind of stuck between two freaking hard places. Because on one hand we have Tencent, and Tencent is not good, and then we have Yves Guillemot, who is rapidly becoming clear that he's not really a good person either.
I'd say Tencent is still worse because at least Ubisoft isn't trying to commit genocide.
So your choices are either racism or sexism.
Yeah. Because like not just sexism. I'm pretty sure Eve will go along with racism if it's sold. But like that's the thing. Tencent has its reasons. It's government reasons.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Ubisoft just does bad things because it sells. If it sells, and then they pretend they didn't do it.
Tencent does bad things because they're basically government cronies, and the government wants to kill Uyghur Muslims. So,
I mean, typical behavior for a communist government, but
Tencent basically equals the government.
Yeah.
everything in China equals the government.
Well, yeah, all corporations are basically just government owned.
Soon didn't Tencent set up the social credit system?
The what?
The social credit system. I'm forgetting
I don't
who
know.
it was. I feel like it might have been Tencent who started their own version first.
I don't know what you're referring to. Social what?
Credit.
Social credit?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Their money system where if you talk to shit about the government, you're poor now.
Yeah,
I
haven't
heard of this, but probably.
It's a very 1984 name.
Yeah.
Reminds me of when Deng Xiaoping introduced like the more capitalist ideas in the cities, and only in the cities. He called it communism with Chinese cultural aspects.
I do know that you have to like put your social security number into anything that you pay for. Like when you're buying microtransactions for a video game, you have to give them your social security number.
I mean, yeah, but that's also Korea, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
And not even best Korea. but worse Korea, by which I mean actually somewhat democratic Korea.
Yeah, I understood the meme.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be talking about North Korean policies as being practical.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody is buying microtransactions in North Korea.
Yeah.
Well, Kim
I don't think
Jong-
anybody's buying anything in North Korea. I think they're just starving.
Are you
Kim
telling
Jong-
me? Are you telling me Kim Jong Un isn't the top rated Fortnite player?
Honestly, like Kim Jong Un actually probably is like one of the big like whales in mobile gaming.
Probably, yeah. And that's where the budget is going, that and the North Korean military, and not to the people.
I'm just imagining Kim Jong Un in his normal getup with like a freaking a neon razor headset sitting in his living room and playing Fortnite, and his screen name is Kim the Destroyer.
I like the idea of him still wearing his typical dictator attire while playing video games. Like the Chairman Mao, Hillary Clinton getup, the Dr. Evil getup, right? All four of those. That same like button up weird like cotton thing. I don't know. What's the name of it? To me, it's always Dr. Evil or Chairman Mao's getup.
Like a tunic?
No, that's not a tunic, is it?
I mean, the closest thing I can think of is a gakuran, which is what the guy in the picture is wearing here, but that's not the same thing.
It's very similar to that, but it's like in gray.
Yeah.
It's always in gray. It's always what supervillains wore in James Bond. Let me just get a picture of Dr. Evil.
I know what you're talking about, I just don't know the name of it.
Yeah, but Soon seems a bit confused. Alright, here's...
I mean, it's an oversized suit, I guess.
There, that outfit. The same one worn by Kim Jong-un, Mao Zedong, and Hillary Clinton.
They wore exactly the same clothes.
Yeah,
they change every week. Someone adds one of the same outfit to the pile.
they're really glad Mao died, so now they only have to share it between the two of them.
Yeah,
They send it to Mike Myers every time Mike has to film a scene as Dr. Evil.
Apparently, it's just a mouse suit.
They just call it the Mao suit?
Yep.
I guess that makes sense. You know that good old Mao Zedong always innovating in the fashion department.
I'm hoping in the next freaking Pokemon we get Chairman Meowth.
I feel like they've already done that storyline.
I don't know what they do with it, but it would be funny.
Haven't they already done a storyline in that cartoon where Meowth takes over the world or something like that?
I mean, the cartoon, yeah, but not the games.
Oh.
I can just imagine freaking Meowth in this get up doing JoJo poses because he's done them before.
Oh, hush. All right.
Anyway, what was the other movie and game that you played?
Right. I wanted to finish up with Night of the Living Dead just real quick. It was ahead of its time, and it had a very active intellectual black protagonist. At 1968, a very divisive year for race relations in America.
No, I think it was perfectly amicable.
Yeah, the exact same year where Dr. King got shot. Oh boy. Anyways.
I mean, shortly we can just say any year and just say, oh, well, yes, that was a very hard year for race relations.
True.
Yeah,
it's slowly becoming that.
Just say that for any year.
Well, the 80s never had any bad incidents. That was pretty much the only decade where there weren't any bad incidents, but still.
Because the music was so good.
They had a bad incident. It was called a Republican.
Oh, oh man. What was I going to say? Yeah, so anyways, it's a classic horror movie, which means most of the cast outside the protagonist is dumb as fucking bricks. There is one character who is genuinely just catatonic, and throughout most of the movie, she only sits on the couch. There's two characters who get themselves blown up because one of them was stupid enough to have a torch out and throw a fucking throw gasoline on it, liquid, lighting the truck that they're in on fire, which then detonates, killing them both. Him and another character. And then, of course, there's another character who is like, I don't trust this main character guy, and I don't like that he's got a gun, so I'm going to steal that gun from him. That sounds like a great idea. It's one of those movies where there's only one competent character in the cast, and he spends most of the movie going, oh, god damn it, why would you do that? It really...
Survival against zombies would be so easy. It's just surviving with these other people that I've been lumped with. That's hard.
Yep, that's the thing in every zombie story. The other people are the problem.
Just kill the people. Problem solved.
He does kill one of the guys, which...
I mean, that's what Joel does.
True.
In Last of Us.
Worked out for him, didn't it? I can kill all the people I want and suffer no consequences. Oh no!
Well, he didn't kill Abby. He just he got over his like killing streak, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go settle down now and be a peaceful person." And then that's when he got killed. So if he had just stuck around with like the idea of killing everybody who comes near him, then he would still be alive today.
I'm gonna kill everyone without repercussions. Ellie, do you want to go golfing?
Yeah. Let no good deed go unpunished. What was I gonna say? Right. They had, like, you really gotta give credit to the movie because it was the first zombie movie and it wound up establishing a lot of ideas and tropes that have stuck around since then. And boy, watching the movie, it occurs to you, not a lot of writers are applying much creative thought to the zombie genre because they've mostly all been ripping off what Romero did.
Yep.
Oh, man. Anyways, on to the things that you guys would actually give a shit about. So, the first one's a Addy and Soon thing I don't think Pink's gonna really give a shit. After playing Sengoku Basara with Addy yesterday, I got inspired to start, and also looking over my top 50 games list and realizing I only put 2 Total Wars on there, and otherwise I've not actually put that much time into the other Total Wars. I settled down and tried to put down a serious run as the Chosakabe clan in Total War Shogun 2. So, you said that the Chosakabe guy was the pirate, right, Addy?
Yeah. I did some cursory research, so not too deep, but yeah. So I was sort of right in assuming that Chosakabe lived somewhere else, and he was attacking Kyushu, which is where Mori was set up.
Really? Because in Shogun 2, the Chosakabe just start out already settled on Kyushu.
They might have gotten the Mori then, or pushed them back by then.
Huh. I don't remember if the Mori are even in the game. They might already be dead by the start of the game.
Yeah, then they might already be dead.
The game starts in 1545.
I don't know when. I don't know by freaking heart when Mori Motonari died, because I don't care for the guy particularly. Let me look it up.
The Chosakabe are the game's recommendation for the starter because they've got pretty much all the things to make an easy Total War faction. They get strong archers, they make a load of money off of farms, and they start off on an island by themselves.
When did you start?
1545.
Okay, Motonari would not be dead yet. Another 30 or so years.
Okay. And I noticed a common trend with that. Soon, have you noticed that always the easiest faction to play in every Total War game is the archer-heavy one that starts off on an island by itself?
Yep, because, I mean, well, in general, like, archers are just OP in every Total War, starting with Empire. Well, I mean, in Empire it's guns, but...
They're OP only because the AI is too stupid to take cavalry.
Yeah, that and the fact that just like missiles are so strong in the new Total Wars.
But like looking at it, like even like before the new engine, England was the easiest faction to play in Total War Medieval 2 because they have strong archers and they start off on an island by themselves.
Yeah, that's true, but they also have like other strengths as well to back up their archers.
Yeah, but they're like built on the archery. They get kind of a secondary perk of, oh, you get really good heavy infantry. But otherwise, it's mostly longbows.
I thought the Holy Roman Empire was actually supposed to be the easiest
Really?
because of their strong cavalry.
Well, France
the
gets the
fact-
strongest cavalry.
Well, yeah, but like the Holy Roman Empire has like strong, really, really strong cavalry, like probably second best, but they also have really, really strong infantry. Like not the best. They don't have the best in any category, but they have like next to the best in most categories.
Yeah, their strength is they're pretty good at everything. Their weakness is they drop off really badly in the late game.
Right, and their cavalry is supposed to be really, really strong, and that's one of their biggest strengths, is cavalry. With like, as well as just like they're all, but like in Medieval 2, cavalry was much better than archery was. Plus, the Holy Roman Empire gave you the most like cities to start off with, so you already like own a decent amount of the world, and you're already basically a super.
That's true, but you also start off at the center of the world, so there's every chance in the world you're going to get invaded by.
Right, but you're so strong that it doesn't matter.
I've not played Holy Roman Empire. I'll have to sometime to figure that out.
Like I never bothered playing Holy Roman Empire because they were so brain dead easy.
I just have trouble believing you because in Total War, like, to me, the worst position is always when you're surrounded by other countries.
Yeah.
But, like, and the easiest one to start with in Warhammer is the High Elves, because they are really strong with archery and they start off on an island by themselves. So I've noticed as a trend.
Yeah.
And Addy, the Chosakabe, like, is that supposed to be a thing, like, throughout the Sengoku era, that they had really strong archers and really strong farms?
The farms I'm not so sure about. The archers, they would have had to have good archers because pirating.
Eh.
And I actually when looking up Motochika, it actually turns out that he didn't actually do that much pirating, at least from what I could gather. It's just there was this one incident where he was sent against the Mori clan on Kyushu that people are like, okay, he was a pirate then.
Eh. Yeah, I mean,
Is Chosakage?
Chosokabe.
Chosakabe. Is he the guy that like had all of those really like what's the word I'm looking for? Like underdog victories at sea? Was he like the naval genius who did all of those really big underdog victories?
I don't know. There is
Possibly so, I think, yeah.
There is a clan in Shogun 2 that is specifically, it says, has the strongest navy in the game. I forget which one. It might be the Takeda, but... Or no, Takeda is...
Yeah, Takeda is cavalry, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, Takeda could only be cavalry or ninjas, but we already have the Hattori clan separate in Shogun.
Oh no, I'm thinking of.
I
think no, not this guy. Maybe no, I don't think this guy.
I think there's 2 ninja clans in Shogun 2, because I think both the Hattori and...
Uesugi?
No, the Ieyasu. I think the Ieyasu also get really good ninjas.
Oh, yeah, because... Yeah, that makes sense, because Tokugawa did unite the Iga and the other ninja clan. I always forget what the other one's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, freaking those 2 clans were used against each other as mercenaries for a while, and then Tokugawa just bought both of them and was like, alright, one of your clan stays in the inner sanctum, the other clan stands outside the doors.
Alright.
And that was how he defended himself.
Alright. Now, I want to make a note. I noticed something about the campaign. Speaking specifically to Soon, because he would have noticed this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just me, or did they, like, really just flatly nerf the campaign aspects of the game altogether going into Rome 2, and then into Warhammer 2 as well?
Yeah, they did.
Because in Shogun, I am making shitloads of money off of farming. Like, if I set up a farm on okay soil, just okay, not good soil, just average soil, it gives me 1,500 gold per turn, and 1 unit of Ashigaru only costs me 60 gold per turn. So one farm can basically afford me like 1.5 armies of Ashigaru. Where Warhammer, like, well, in Warhammer, you can't make money off of farming altogether. And in Rome, a farm would make me what? $100? $200?
Yeah.
They nerfed the shit out of campaign.
Yeah, campaign really, really sucks in Rome 2. Not so much in Attila. Well, kind of Attila, but like then Charlemagne, which is the only reason anybody should play Attila. had a really
Attila's
good
got a big
campaign.
appeal as the hardest in the series, doesn't it?
Yeah. Charlemagne has a really good campaign compared to Attila. So like they started like improving campaign mechanics around the time of Charlemagne. But then like Warhammer is obviously the worst campaign in the entire, just in terms of like campaign mechanics. It's just so neutered and barren and empty. Like, yeah.
I think Rome 2 is actually worse with its false building choices, because, like, there's so many just, like, pointless building options of, oh, like, there's a different shrine building for each of the gods. I don't know why we did this, because you're going to pick Neptune every time, because Neptune's shrine is the only one that doesn't cost food, but here it is.
Right. I actually like the building system that they implemented. I love the building system like Medieval 2. I hate the building system that they have now where it's just like a symbol and then you have like 6. I hate that so much. So stupid. Makes no sense. It
We're only
neuters the campaign depth.
soon. We're only getting every other word here.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's cool. It's just letting you
Can
know
you hear
that,
me
like,
now?
we got you, that, it's dumb.
Okay. What I was saying, can you hear me well now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that was just the fan that was noise polluting. But yeah, like it just feels like they completely neutered the campaign depth with the new building system.
I would call
Like
it artificial depth.
where you have like a limited amount of slots and you build up the tiers with like these, and buildings are represented by these little symbols. You know?
Yes.
Rome 2 is big on that. Is that when they implemented that system?
It would have been the jump from Shogun 2 to Rome 2. Shogun 2
Yeah.
definitely had limited buildings.
Right. But it also had it still had more building depth. And
Kind of. Well, Shogun 2 simplifies the building in a way that makes it where it doesn't, like, Rome 2, you gotta think a lot, like, oh, how do I best build this city? And your reward for thinking a lot is very little profit, whereas Shogun 2, it's like, oh, farms and markets, loads of money, bring it on.
well, yeah. But like I just think that the limited amount of slots and the tier system sucks a lot. Well, I mean, not the tier system, because the tier system has been a thing, but like just the limited amount of slots, which requires a limited amount of buildings more so than like in Medieval 2. Like in Medieval 2, your limitation is the economy essentially in terms of what you can build, and there's so many buildings that you can build. And I just feel like that's a better system than what we have now, where the limitation is the slots and not the economy, because economic limitation, while it's easy to break, is just more realistic, you know?
It is, but, like, one thing I should note is there is an extra limitation you're forgetting about with Medieval 2. In Medieval 2, a city can only build one building at a time.
Right.
Every game after that, you can build as many buildings as you want at a given time. It's just a limited slots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also we all know the slots should never be limited.
Yeah.
I still prefer it with Medieval 2.
I do
Like,
too.
I think that limitation is fine. I think that limitation is better than what we have now. I actually prefer the like slow burn build up rather than the, oh look, I just built up this city in like 20 turns.
Well, let me say what the real issue is. The real issue with limited building slots is anytime you ever build a military building, you are wasting a slot that should be going to economy.
Yeah.
And that means that you will build one military building and stick with that throughout the entire game. Maybe you'll build probably an infantry building and an artillery building, nothing else.
Yeah.
And if you're playing dwarves, you might not even build an infantry building because you can get infantry from your artillery building.
Yeah.
So yeah, Warhammer's campaign's got a lot of depth problems. One that I've been focused on lately is garrisons.
Right.
Like, for me, Rome 2's edition of, like, automatic garrisons, I don't really like. I think it's more interesting to have the depth of, should I invest in a big garrison for this city, or, have almost none. And Warhammer, like, garrisons are so huge that there's, like, it just becomes a problem quickly with the AI, that the AI builds up the garrison so quickly in every settlement it can, and then it has one massive army because the AI cheats with its money, that it then dances that army between all three of its settlements, so you never get to attack them, ever.
Yeah.
The AI in Warhammer Turtles way, way, way too much.
Right.
I guess it's one of those things, like, where people want it to... I guess it's part of the anti-snowballing thing and all that, but, like, fuck. I mean, Shogun 2, it's not perfect, having the player-made garrisons in Shogun and Medieval, because the AI is stupid as hell in those games, and you'll just find cities with no garrison.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'll take this, thanks.
I actually have never minded snowballing.
Me neither.
Like, I've just never minded it.
I think a late game grind is much worse than a snowball.
I think snowballing is fine. I think the problem is having a snowball occur too early.
Yes.
And the problem is that, like, the recent Total Wars are so fast paced that if you do snowball, you snowball in like 50 to 100 turns.
Well, I think one more thing why I think snowballing would be really good at encouraging snowballing. I think would be a really smart addition to Warhammer, because the map is too fucking big.
Yeah.
There's too many settlements.
Yeah.
And the campaign.
I honestly, sorry, go ahead.
I know I was about to lead into another thought there.
I honestly think that snowballing is actually the fun part of the game.
Yes, it is.
Like, I don't know. People say it's a problem, but now that I think about it, like, that's what I've always enjoyed in, like, Crusader Kings 2 and all of the Total War. I enjoy the snowball. I don't like the fact that, like, even as a big superpower, I still feel just as strong as I was at the beginning of the game. I don't like that.
Yes. It also just gets into the ridiculousness of, you are a 30-province state, and you can afford 2 armies. You're going up against a 1-province state that can afford 2 armies.
Yeah, it's just so stupid, and I hate it.
Like,
give me snowballing.
Yeah, which Shogun 2 was pretty much the last one. Shogun 2 had the best anti-snowballing system in the series. I know that Realm Divide was a very controversial one, but Shogun 2's anti-snowballing mechanics was not, fuck you, we're going to make it so that even as a big state that owns lots of provinces, you're still as weak as a 1-province state. Shogun 2's anti-snowballing mechanic was, if you get too big, the other countries are going to try and crab bucket you. Which Warhammer tries with the Great Power, but it does, like, obviously you can pay off countries, and it's just like a slight diplomatic thing, which is a pain in the ass.
Isn't it like -5?
Great Power?
Or maybe -15.
Great Power moves up to like -15, except for the Tomb Kings, for whom it moves up to +15. That's one of my favorite little details, that the Tomb Kings actually like you better the more powerful you are. I mean, it also gets into the problem of, like, Shogun is just for Japan, so, like, everybody's trying to take over Japan, so of course they get pissy when someone else gets too big. But the realm divide doesn't really work for, say, Warhammer, because what does Bretonnia care if you've taken over the Southlands?
Yeah. Like, Bretonia would actually like it if the Empire were to kill off the orcs, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird. I don't...
Well, I think...
It's just, like, Warhammer has a problem in that they have, like, a certain philosophy about the gameplay that's just fundamentally flawed.
Yes. Like, on one hand, siege battles suck ass. On the other hand, trying to siege the city out in campaign doesn't work because inevitably someone's going to show up to save the day from you. You're going to get Rohirrim'd, right?
Right.
And, like, everybody builds walls, everybody builds massive garrisons, so you either have to siege out every city or auto-resolve, which of course gets a ton of your units killed, because Warhammer's auto-resolve is so weighted against you.
Yep.
In contrast to Medieval 2 and Shogun 2, where I'd actually say that auto-resolve seems to be weighted in favor of the player, which is weird.
Yeah.
I don't know, because once I lost a unit of like 1,300 people to 100 people.
Right, but
Those people must have been very badass.
Were you exhausted?
No.
Were you force marching?
No.
Were those samurai and you had Ashigaru?
No, I had samurai and they were Ashigaru.
Was it a siege?
No, it was near a castle, but it wasn't a siege.
Were you playing on very hard difficulty?
No, I was playing on easy.
Were you fighting in the forest and they were ambushing you?
No.
Then I have no idea what happened there because...
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's weird because it makes no sense.
That's never happened to me.
It's happened to me in Warhammer, but not in any other Total War.
Yeah, but in Warhammer, you know.
Yeah, in
You've already
Warhammer, the auto-resolve cheats against you.
Yeah.
I have to hope that Warhammer 3 taking 4 years of development time is just to overhaul the campaign. But it would be so much work!
I hope so. I hope that, like, Warhammer's long-ass development is purely because they actually make, like, a good campaign. Because, like, they are building on the depth of it. They're just doing it in, like weird.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing it around the lords, which is dumb, you know?
Okay.
Like, I don't want to have to, like, play a certain lord just to get a decent, like, campaign depth.
Yeah, that's definitely, like, the thing is, Three Kingdoms is focusing quite a bit on every lord having a unique faction mechanic, and they're trying to carry that over, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Because even though CA has separate teams, I have to assume there's a lot of, I guess, inbreeding between the teams, you know?
Right.
Where they are probably still working on concepts at the same time.
Not only are they making games about the monarchy, the Austrian monarchy, they are the Austrian monarchy.
Oh no! Okay, so I got 2 last things to say. One is, I think that Shogun 2 does a pretty neat job of making it where samurai are not, like, guaranteed to just immediately start replacing Ashigaru. Because not only are they more expensive, they take two turns to build instead of 1 turn. I think that's nice. And I know that build time in Warhammer is a problem, particularly because the AI gets to cheat and ignore it. But I still think it would be neat if, like, great swords and so on and black orcs took longer to build. So there's more of an encouragement. Like, if I need a quick, cheap army in the late game, I will build orc boys instead of just an army of black orcs.
Yeah.
And that's one of Warhammer's many big problems for me is just that it needs more encouragement to build units that aren't just the most expensive unit you can at that moment.
Right.
And
I mean, yeah.
And the other thing I want to say is that I think Shogun 2 has a lot to gain from just Japan having an interesting geography. Being so mountainous and having the islands to fight over.
Yeah.
And Warhammer, like, they're fighting in Lustria or Nagaroth or the Badlands or Ulthuan, they're all fine because they all have interesting geographies. I don't know if you've noticed this soon. I fucking hate fighting in the Empire because, like, it's just so much open land with tons of cities and the only real geographical features are the rivers, which it's impossible for the player to really understand, while the AI understands them perfectly.
Right.
Like, I hate that the majority of the game is built around the Empire, when the Empire's geography is such a pain in the ass to fight in.
Yeah.
It's why I vastly prefer playing as, like, Malekith or Gorok, is just because at least there's actual strategy to the geography out there, instead of just flat lands and cities.
Right.
Anyways, that's enough about Shogun 2.
1 sec before we move on, I just wanted to point out how cool freaking Monkey Boy's signature is.
Monkey Boy? Who the fuck is Monkey Boy?
Toyotomi Hideyoshi, you know, like the big guy who conquered all of Japan after Nobunaga.
Ah, okay.
The guy who does a Shangoku Satsu and a pile driver.
Yes, I
in
know.
Matara. Yeah.
Apparently Oda Nobunaga is supposed to be very overpowered in that game, by the way.
Oda Nobunaga was very overpowered in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I played some like Divinity. No, not Divinity, but some. What's the Divine Warriors or what's it called?
Dynasty Warriors?
The
Dynasty.
Samurai Warriors would be the Koei
Yeah.
take on Japanese.
Yeah, I was playing some like one of the more arcadey Dynasty Warriors, I guess a spinoff. And in that game, Oda is a cat with
What?
a gun.
Okay.
Okay, so
I-
this
so
isn't
that's-
Samurai Warriors.
It was Dynasty
It's not-
Warriors. It was Dynasty Warriors.
What the
Sorry?
fuck is Oda
It
Nobunaga doing in Dynasty Warriors?
So yeah, so here's the thing. Soon we had Muso games because the Warriors games are always actually called Muso, something other than Muso. But yeah, the Warriors games is like Dynasty Warriors is China. Samurai Warriors is Japan, but it's still realistic. Then they have the spin-offs, which I'm gonna look up which one has Oda Nobunaga as a cat because I need to look into that probably. Maybe the
on
gameplay
PS
isn't shit.
I know it's on PS Now.
I don't have PS now.
Okay, so if
Well-
Oda Nobunaga showed up in Dynasty Warriors, that would mean that not only had he moved from Japan to China, it would also mean he would have gone back 1,300 years in history. So, I mean, if Oda Nobunaga has time travel powers now, that'd be pretty interesting, honestly.
Not only did Oda Nobunaga have time travel powers, but he also did the freaking invasion of the Mongol Empire a couple years before Toyotomi. So
Okay,
I
let's
see it's just
see.
called Samurai Cats.
Samurai cats?
Yes,
Okay. So
it's on the Koei wiki. Samurai Cats. Nobunaga no Yabo.
It's Warriors All Stars.
Oh, that's a mix of all of their Muso games. They all get a representative character. I guess Nobunaga was okay. I actually like the pun that they did on this because Koei does or I'm not sure if it's Koei, but there's this like I think strategy game series called Nobunaga's Ambition, and so Samurai Cats in Japan is called Nobunaga's Ambition, basically. Which nya is the onomatopoeia for meowing in Japan.
Yeah.
Right.
So they not only have a game of just Oda Nobunaga as a regular human, but you can have human Oda Nobunaga meet cat Oda Nobunaga.
Yes. And apparently there's also Ket Datema Samune. I need this in my life.
This sounds amazing.
I don't know why I'm so obsessed with Datema Samune. I just think he's really cool.
I guess I just exposed Addy to a new game for him to talk about.
So if
Not
memory serves,
necessarily,
that
because I always shit on freaking Koei games.
that game you're playing soon, Warriors All Stars, mostly focuses on Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, which are, of course, the War of the Three Kingdoms and the Sogoku Jidai. But doesn't it also feature Joan of Arc and oh shit, who's the guy from
No,
300?
you're thinking of Warriors Orochi.
Warriors Orochi. Oh shit, never mind.
Yeah, the Warriors Orochi has Joan of Arc, and it also has the like
Guy from
freaking
300.
Spartacus or something like that.
Not
Leonidas?
Spartacus.
Leonidas.
Leonidas. Yes, Leonidas.
Is it
Holy
Leonidas
fuck,
that's
you
in
guys
Warriors
are on
Orochi?
It's Leonidas. If it's the guy from 300, it's Leonidas.
I don't think it's the guy from 300 is the thing. That's why I said
Okay.
Spartacus. I think it's Spartacus. I'm looking this up.
No, Spartacus is Roman. He's a Roman slave.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Well, there's definitely a
Leonidas is
Spartan guy, so...
Leonidas is a Spartan general. Spartacus is a Roman slave who led a failed rebellion.
Well, all I know is it's a game mostly comprised of dudes from Chinese and Japanese history, but they've also got Joan of Arc and a Spartan.
Yeah, you're thinking of Warriors Orochi 3. I'm looking up at the roster now, so we'll figure out who the hell it is. Achilles. It was neither.
Oh, shit!
Wait, what?
I don't
Achilles?
understand Greek history.
Yeah, so the Warriors Orochi is mostly samurai warriors and dynasty warriors characters, and there's also bonus characters from other games that they have, like Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden, INF for Dead or Alive, which is definitely Ryu Hayabusa is definitely not in Dead or Alive at all. Joan of Arc from Bladestorm, The 100 Years War, Achilles from Warriors Legend of Troy, and Nemea from Trinity Souls of Zil. All
Apparently,
Which-
they also have
yeah. Go ahead.
they also have a Hydra.
Yeah, well, not a Hydra. Yeah,
It's
Wait.
literally called Hydra.
no, yeah. Oh
It's
yeah,
an
yeah,
eight-headed-
yeah.
it's an
Because
eight-headed
it's
serpent that's
Yamato
literally
no
called
Orochi. Yeah.
It's literally called Hydra.
Yeah, I completely forgot that freaking Orochi transforms into a Hydra. Like,
I swear, you.
I mean, technically, I guess that's more like his actual historical representation, Yamato no Orochi, because it wasn't just a dude with snake mouth.
I do like they at least at some point gave a shot at making Warriors games that weren't in the Three Kingdoms or Sengoku Jidai.
Yeah, freaking Koei makes a lot of Warriors games. It's just they're mostly the same gameplay wise.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of applying it to different settings, though, different real-life wars.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Imagine if they did it, like, for the Napoleonic Wars. Just Napoleon
Just guns.
Napoleon doing massive combos on people. And, like, the way they always portrayed Cao Cao and Oda Nobunaga as being big, evil, demonic figures, imagine them doing that to Napoleon. Like, he's a giant, and he's got shadow demon flame eyes. Like a Kuma or something.
He's not a giant. He's a dwarf, and then he just summons freaking cavalry.
Yeah.
He summons cavalry and cannons. That's his combos.
Napoleon was tall for his time, though, wasn't he? So he would be a giant.
Yeah. No. Well, Napoleon was the average size. I think he was just measured short because of the differences between the French and the British or whatever the English size thing.
He was like 5'8".
Which is average for our time, but I think tall by the 200 years ago time.
Yeah, no, by his age, he like in his period, he was tall. It's actually kind of short for nowadays, since like the average man is 5'11". But
Anyway,
But yeah, I feel like they would make him short just because of the myth, though, because a lot of portrayals Koei does, or any of these games do, is more based on the myth than the actual person.
yeah, which is why Cao Cao is always a supervillain and Oda Nobunaga is always a demon.
Yeah.
When in reality, Liu Bei was the fucking douchebag of the Three Kingdoms. Anyways, so now after talking with you two about that, now I've got something I don't think either of you two have watched, and instead it's going to be a Pink and Alex talk.
Oh no.
So for the first time in my life, I have watched Die Hard.
ooh,
Well, it's about time. It's a little late. Christmas is about 7 months behind us.
Well, no, you see, he did a live reaction of it for Christmas that he's gonna upload then.
Oh
I
yeah,
see.
that's the new thing. Live movie reactions, my channel.
Yeah, you're gonna freaking you're gonna go into the next freaking rock movie and then just smuggle your phone in and do a live stream where you just go, oh, those are pixels.
That's a good way to get your channel shut down.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, immediately having watched it, yeah. I mean, I don't think it really matters that much whether it's a Christmas movie or not. For me, it came off as a Christmas movie. which, if memory serves, wasn't the argument with the Christmas movie thing. Wasn't it, Pink, you were arguing it was a Christmas movie and Mike was arguing it wasn't?
Yes.
Yeah.
It totally is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's very centered around Christmas. And Mike's whole contention, I think, just was the fact that the movie didn't come out around Christmas.
No, it did, didn't it?
No, it came out in like July or something.
I thought it came out in December.
I'll look it up just to be certain. But yeah, this all-time classic action movie
Oh,
that
yeah, no, it came out in July.
Yeah.
You're right. I always heard that it came out like December.
So this all-time classic action movie that everybody always talks about being the greatest, and I've always been recommended to watch, it turns out pretty good. Pretty good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really, really fun action movie that was also very smart, did not skimp on the plot. The hero solves problems in interesting ways rather than just by shoot-banging through them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And to my understanding, it pretty much screwed that up by following it up with a bunch of sequels that don't do that.
Yep. The further down you go, the worse it gets.
Oh boy. But we got Bruce Willis here, who does a wonderful job as the everyman hero John McClane, who is steadily getting more and more pissed and tired of what he's having to do. And I was, kind of expecting John to be a little bit of a tough guy, but a little bit humble, but he's actually really humble throughout the whole movie. And he has false bravado that he displays at certain points. But the humility he displays when he's by himself, it kind of comes off. They do a very good job of showing how John McClane displays a different face to other people than he does to himself.
Right.
And of course, Alan Rickman does a fantastic job as the villain, Hans Gruber?
Hans
Yep.
Gruber.
Hans Gruber.
Yes. And did he get nominated for an Oscar in that one? I feel like he did.
He should have been.
I don't think so.
And it was his first film role.
Oscars hate
Was it really?
action movies.
Soon, I think, this movie would have come out 4 years after Aliens, and I believe that Sigourney Weaver won the Best Actor Oscar for Aliens.
Let's see.
She was definitely nominated. I know that for certain. Which, yeah, those are two movies that I've been heavily recommended and just watched for the first time, both of them over the past couple weeks. And both of them
Die Hard was not nominated for a Best Actor award. It was nominated for Best Sound, Best Film Editing, Best Effects. So basically the action movie.
The typical action movie awards.
It wasn't nominated for literally anything else.
Anything of note. The 6 Oscars that everyone pays attention to. Best Picture, the 4 acting ones, and the director.
Right.
Anyways, so yeah, it's a really good movie. It's got a good sense of humor. The shots are done well. The building is set up in such a way that you can follow the continuity of it, and there's no point where you get lost and you're like, wait, where is this happening? Like, we have a good idea of where each room in the Nakatomi Plaza is. I think one of the bigger things that can really help an action movie, I want to hear if you guys agree with this, it helps an action movie to follow multiple protagonists. Because when I think of...
I agree.
I'm trying to think of, like, action movies that follow or don't that.
It's like when I think of action movies that I would consider the all-time great action movies, Terminator 2, Aliens, Mad Max Fury Road, Die Hard, all of them have multiple protagonists, not just one.
I'm trying to think of any that have just one protagonist.
Like maybe John Wick, I guess, but even then, like, I feel like
John or Jason Bourne.
I've never watched any of those movies.
Supposedly supposed to be really good for action movies.
I didn't like them. Well, I didn't like the half of the first one that I watched.
Yeah,
and
but
I turned it off.
It has Matt Damon in them, and Matt Damon sucks.
Yeah.
Outside of Good Will Hunting, he's okay in Good Will Hunting. He's not the highlight because that's Robin Williams and Ben Affleck, but he's okay in Good Will Hunting.
Was that Dave and Jason Bourne? Because most of my issues I remember being Jason Bourne. So
Yep, Matt Damon is Jason Bourne. I don't know, Matt Damon. I don't like his face. I've never been impressed with his acting, but I really don't like his face.
you're like the freaking the Jones from mean. You, I don't like him. I don't like him.
Yeah, pretty much.
what about Gladiator?
I thought Gladiator was a drama.
I mean, it's pretty action movie, I'd say.
Predator also follows multiple protagonists, come to think of it.
Yeah, it does.
I feel like the thing with having multiple protagonists is it kind of sidesteps the idea of the one-man army that can often be so poisonous to a good action movie, you know? Which, I mean, like, John Wick is able to work around it by just showing that John is a genuine pro, and he isn't just, shoot gun.
Oh, James Bond. Some of the James Bond movies.
Yeah. But most of
And
the Bond movies are really bad, though.
Yeah, obviously there's also superheroes.
Yeah, those superheroes, they just straight up tell you this guy is superhuman.
Right.
But I think it works to a lot of these films' favor to follow multiple protagonists, not only to show that things can be accomplished not just by one dude, but also, like, we get to follow multiple arcs, and we typically get very amusing different perspectives on things, right?
Right.
And with Die Hard, like, each of the protagonists get their own little victory. Even fucking Argyle sitting in the basement underneath the tower gets his little moment near the end.
That's pretty common for good fantasy, too.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings. Fantastic example of multiple protagonists working out in the story's favor.
Yeah, or Willow.
Yeah. The best Marvel movies focus on teams. Guardians or Avengers.
Yeah. Dragonheart's another one.
Yep. Though the worst DC movies are the ones that focus on multiple characters, though.
Well, to be fair, the only good DC movies, the first Wonder Woman and
Shazam.
That's it.
Shazam is good.
What was that?
Shazam is good.
Shazam is good, but it also has multiple protagonists.
And not until the end.
Yeah, but I mean, like, all of those characters are still very central characters, you know? I'd say that they are counted as protagonists for most of the movie. And even then, like, he at the very least has that one kid who's with him every step of the way.
Yeah, I would absolutely count him as a kind of duo antagonist, but I don't count the other siblings, really. They only show up for the occasional scene. Wouldn't you agree, Pink?
Right.
Pink, you watched Shazam 2. Say something, fucker.
I would count... What's his face?
The little...
the annoying kid.
Yeah. I would count that as a deuteragonist, but... I feel like the others outside of Mary kind of didn't get much focus until the end, so I don't know that I would consider them that, because they don't really have arcs. They're just side characters.
Right. That's fair. I was thinking mostly Mary, the deuteragonist character, and then Shazam.
Yeah.
I wasn't really
Freddie.
thinking.
Freddie,
yes. Freddie Freeman.
Something. Freeman.
Oh, you guys kept calling her Mary, and I was like, how the hell do you remember her name was Mary? And I was like, oh, Mary Marvel, duh. So Mary Marvel and Freddie Freeman.
Wonder Woman and Shazam are basically the only ones if you count only the like DC canon movies.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Die Hard, very good action movie. I'm still a little bit in the honeymoon period, so I guess I probably am still slapping it with a bit of more praise than it deserves.
I don't think so.
Soon, have you watched?
If there's a reason it's considered one of the best.
It's very well executed, well written. The characters are really enjoyable. The villain is really enjoyable. Several of the villains, like Hans is always the one that gets brought up, but there's also a lot of fun to be had with Carl and Theo.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Though the movie has one of the strangest action hero lines I've ever heard. Like, everybody loves, of course, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Right.
But the scene near the end where John is wrestling with Carl, John just shouts at Carl, "I'm gonna fucking kill ya! I'm gonna fucking cook ya! I'm gonna fucking eat ya!" And I'm like, really, John? Like, I get that he was getting suplexed onto stairs when he said that, so maybe he wasn't in the most precise mental state, but it's still a very strange threat. I also felt the ending was a bit cheesy, but in a way that you kind of walk away happy. Like, yeah, that's not how it would go down in real life, but I'm happy with it anyways.
Yeah, it's a shame that the sequels were so terminated.
I've heard decent things about the one with Sam Jackson in it, and oh shit, the villain, he was Hans's brother, and Jeremy Irons, thank you. I don't know how I forgot his name. I just watched Watchmen with him like a couple weeks ago. And
How does he like it?
What?
How does he like it? You said you watched Watchmen with him.
Oh yeah, he considered his own scenes to be pretty good, but other than that, he was a bit of an ass. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Die Hard with a Vengeance was good. I do remember that one. Yeah.
I mean, Jeremy Irons is good in everything, so
57% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I liked it.
Rotten Tomatoes gets things wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
And
83% from audiences with like 400,000 users. So
there's also some cases where movies just didn't get very good critical reception at the time, but it got better later.
Right.
Like Die Hard, apparently. Die Hard didn't do very well with critics at all, even though it's now counted even amongst like artistes as like one of the best action movies.
Right. And then there's movies that aren't like liked by either like general audiences or critics because the critics just like lambasted the movie so hard, but they're actually kind of Sucker Punch.
Okay, I got one last trope I gotta mention from Die Hard that I'm a sucker for. I'm a sucker for when an action movie is set in one place, and that one place gets progressively more and more messed up over the course of the movie. I love how Nakatomi Plaza just gets so ruined throughout the movie, and by the final act, legitimately, it's pretty much a showdown in the building while it's on fire.
Yeah.
I really dig that. That was a good action movie. I'm glad I watched it. Alright. I think we can call that a podcast. Addy.
Sweet.
Addy. Sippy. Here. Right. Come on. Come on, you shit. We're all waiting on you, fucker. No, seriously, I think people are actually waiting on me. Oh no! Now I'm trapped here! I am at Addy's mercy, and Addy is not a merciful man! Oh, Pink, soon. You want to play Go Fish until Addy says bye?
I don't have any
Discord
cards.
didn't freaking send it.
Oh, we can barely hear you. You're static.
That was
I tried to do a joke when I do that, but the Discord was like, "Nah, you don't need to hear that."
What came through sounded like the fucking the audio recording that they pick up right at the start of a horror movie. Like we just pretty well heard "Liberate tutte me e inferni."
Mortis. But yeah. So how I did that was I just turned on freaking the beta noise canceling that doesn't work and it just adds more noise.
Yeah. All right. Guess we'll see you later, folks.